All right, check 1, 2. Hello, everybody. Welcome. My name is Gio Morales, your host of the Gold Squadron podcast. And today we got a special edition stream. We're known for X-Wing, but did you guys know that my first love of gaming is actually board games? Did you know that, Ryan?
I didn't, but now I do.
Yeah, I love board games. And one of my favorite things is exploring brand new board games. And when I heard you mentioned the first time, which was, man, how long ago was this?
It's been a long time.
It's been a while.
Sure. It's been a while.
I played the prototype of this game that was cut out pieces of paper, and it was almost like it has transformed so much. And to hear that one of my listen, the idea was there, and you iterate, and look at where we are. We are. The sun has risen on the day in which you launched your Kickstarter, my friend.
Yeah, dude, I am. Well, first off, it's like I'm floored by the support that I've gotten already. Like, we're not 100% backed yet, but fingers crossed that maybe during the stream we get there. But like, the support that we've gotten from a huge chunk of the X-Wing community and the people that have listened to me for a very long time does not go unnoticed. I'm speechless. You can tell. Like, I'm usually pretty decent with words, and I do not have many other than just gratitude. It's been crazy.
Yeah, man, it's pretty cool to see the people in the comment section, like seeing those names of people. That's like, wait, I know that. That's somebody I've met in X-Wing.
Yeah.
And just seeing the community rally around. Obviously, you're known for doing amazing work on the Fly Better podcast, and your work with X-Wing. But this has been a huge passion project for you.
Yeah, it has been it's just been crazy. It's been 4 years of work on this. Yep. I initially began this as just like a sketch. I wrote a whole world like design write up on the Board Game Geek Encounters page. If you guys want to read the whole thing, and so I won't reiterate everything. But it all started out with me thinking of like what kind of fan game I'd want to play if I played like a Critical Role fan game. It's like a franchise I really like. But I I don't know, you know Andrew Seeley, right? Andrew Seeley was like, don't make a fan game. Make your own thing. And he said it so bluntly. I was like, I don't know if I can make my own thing, because a lot of people like have ideas, or we talk to people all the time, right? Yeah. Like, we talk to people all the time, or like, I could make this game. And I didn't want to become just another statistic of someone who wanted to make a game and never actually made it. My background very much comes from like film editing and everything. And it's really hard to make a movie by yourself. But I thought maybe I could pull off a board game, but not by myself. I had tons and tons of help. You helped a lot. You helped play test it. Stephen Kim, Rathos, we know him, was, he's in the credits as a mechanics consultant, but he really, helped design some of the fundamental core aspects of the game, which I'll talk about. Chris Allen has been instrumental in helping me break the game and rebalance and tune it. That's
important. That man's good at that. He will find it. He will find it if it is there.
And Matthew Erb tested probably more games with me than anybody else, like, period. So by and large, and tons of testers too, tons and tons of people that have just like, hey, will you play this awful game and maybe make it a little less awful? Because boy, were there a lot of terrible, terrible versions of the game before it became, pretty good. It's pretty good.
Let me tell you how much I enjoyed this game, all right? So I'm at Ryan Farmer's house with my family on vacation, and it's like midnight. I'm like, Ryan, I want to play Encounters Shattered Waste. My daughter's in bed. Devin's asleep. Can we play now? And we finished the game, and I was like, Can we play again? And then Ryan's like, I start a new job tomorrow. I'm like, okay, fine. You play with me when you come back from work. But I'm excited for the game. I absolutely love it. Had a great time learning it, and it's cool to be a part of this, my friend. It's awesome.
Yeah, I'm so excited that you're excited about it, and I wouldn't be pushing it this hard if I thought it was a bad game. I probably would have quit a long time ago.
Oh yeah,
But you know,
understandable.
I did a playtest with Max Brook, who is the X-Wing designer and currently the designer of Stone Saga, which I think just wrapped up on Kickstarter. And it, you know, they made over $1 million. He's one of the co-designers with Luke Eddy on it, and he played it about a year and a half, maybe a year ago, and he said that the bones were good, basically. And you know, that was like proof to me that like a real actual human game designer was like, don't stop, you know.
Yeah, somebody who does this for a living, right, and has multiple games under their belt in their portfolio, said that you got something here.
Yes. I mean, I don't want to put words in his mouth, right? Like, I don't remember exactly what he said, but what he didn't say was, you should stop.
This is bad.
Well, and the thing is, like, I did have friends that played earlier versions of the game, and you know, if you're ever thinking about designing a game yourself, which I recommend if you're willing to put your heart and soul into something and really put yourself out there, get friends that will tell you the truth, right? Because I had some, you know, the Minox tested with me, you know, D and Cody and Steven and Seeley and everyone, and you know, Brian Terwilliger, and when it wasn't that good, they told me things like, this isn't special, or this isn't, you know, it's not fun. I mean, Cody told me recently, the last version I was being your friend by playing it, but this time I actually wanted to.
Yeah.
Which, you know, that you want friends that are blunt with you, and you can't take anything. You literally cannot take anything in the feedback process personally at all, period. Like, because all the feedback process is doing is working towards making the game better. Should we talk about what the game is? I feel like I'm talking, but nobody knows what it is.
It's fine. I like this background. For anybody who's just joining us, today we're talking about Encounters Shattered Waste. It is a you could play solo, but
Yeah.
I like playing with friends. But I know some people like that option of playing solo. I like to. For me, it's in that category of co-op board game, which has that solo possibility component. It is. I see a couple of questions in the chat. It is going to be a real game. Ideal, of course, if it gets
There's a box
right there. He's got it. He's got it.
Box.
And what we're doing is we are playing. We are going to be demoing it via the Tabletop Simulator preview that is currently available. If you want the link to that, I believe you can sign up through the newsletter on the website. Is that right? Ryan?
Yep. You can sign up on the newsletter, and it's not a public link quite yet, but it will be public soon enough so that you can, you know, actually just find it on TTS and play it. It is every component that is currently in the game is in the TTS module. I don't believe in, you know, locking stuff behind that. You know, my hope is that the game plays a lot better in person on a real table with real components. So, you know, it's kind of like, if you like it, you know, try and buy sort of thing. And you kind of described it really well. 1 to 4 players, and it's a cooperative boss fighter. Like, we play as these heroes that are traveling through this corrupted magical wasteland called the Shattered Wastes. And a lot of my influences are from, you know, obviously there's an aesthetic throwback to like 16-bit JRPGs of like the 90s, like Chrono Trigger and, you know, the Final Fantasy 4 and 6 and stuff like that. Like, that's in the pixel art and a lot of the kind of the turn-based mechanics. But lore-wise and like the feel, you have this grim, dark, very like Dark Soulsy story told through the environment kind of feel. And that's something I wanted to listen to, because I want you to create your own story when playing. There's just enough there to sink your teeth into, but the characters don't have names. You're not playing as like Dedis and Nogri. You're playing as a Lancer or an Aeromancer. So you can put your story on, like, why are they in the Shattered Wastes? Why are they fighting these bosses, these enemies here? What's the purpose? So,
yeah,
because really,
go ahead.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. I was gonna say, really, it's the whole point of this is, I thought there was a hole in the market for a fantasy style game that only takes, you know, 60 to 90 minutes. That isn't some big monstrous campaign thing with 1,000 miniatures in it and 1,000 cards and 800 million hours of gameplay. There's a lot of variety and replayability to encounters, but you don't have to commit to a campaign like Gloomhaven. or a
Right.
big box or anything like that. It's just you're good, you know.
Yeah, yeah. For me, I'm extremely excited. I know one of the things that you wanted to kind of start off with, for anybody who's not familiar with it, if you want to pay attention now, we're about to show you the trailer. All right,
perfect.
For Encounter Shattered Waste, it gives a great overview of the game. So we're gonna go ahead and cue that up. And while I'm going to have to do a little bit of quick producing here in the background, Ryan. While you're doing that, can you just give me a little bit of information about what are the characters that exist? Because I will tell you one of the things that that are currently in the game. I'm a huge fan of literary RPGs. Like, that's my jam right now. I've been just on a huge train of them, and the idea of thinking about the background of a character and you just naming them as essentially archetypes, and building them that way. I would love to just kind of go through what are those characters.
I'd love to do that. Let's see. I'm just trying to pull. You want me to hit that right now?
Yeah, go ahead and hit that right now while I get this ready.
So there are 8 main kind of character archetypes in the game. And actually, Dion, if while you do something else, could you scroll over to like the cards on the side, maybe, and just put the camera over top of them? And then that might make it a little easier for me to describe them. I knew that when I was designing the game, I had always had a couple characters in mind, and I wanted archetypes that felt familiar but not the same. They were things that were close to what you knew, but I didn't want to go with just like necessarily a knight and just like a sorcerer and stuff. There are some classic D&D style archetypes like the monk in here, but I tried to put a twist on something where I could. So the siren is a magical support user. But and the other thing that is really important to me is like the representation in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I really wanted to push a variety of genders, both male, female, and non-binary, trans, whichever. A lot of the character art is very like it could be either way. There are a variety of races in the game, skin tones represented, and that was really really important to me to make sure that the representation was strong. I did a write-up on Reddit about that. So the siren, they're a merfolk that likes to be a pirate. Basically, they've got they love guns, they love black powder because fire doesn't exist underwater. So the siren has a gun and is able to help support with song, but also can turn into their mer person form, which is cool. And then the Ronin is like a disgraced samurai. I'm a big fan of Seven Samurai, and I thought the Ronin was a really cool character for that. They get better through failure. So if they fail at something, they get a little bit better at it. And so that's sort of the theme of that Ronin character. The Slayer is if you're familiar with, certain JRPGs, it's a throwback to guy with a pretty man with big sword. But there's some really important lore with the Slayer as well, because their trait, their kind of inherent ability is called a reclaimed blade. And in encounters, when you shatter, which we will show off later, there's a rare mechanic where you can reclaim yourself, which is, pull from the goodness in your heart and no longer be shattered anymore. So Slayers, in order to protect people from the monsters in the Shattered Wastes, have to grab these crystal blades that are corrupt and reclaim them as their own. So that's what the Slayer does. And then the Seer is this entity who's cursed with future sight, so they can see into the future. And in order to, imagine if you had to live every day constantly seeing flashes of the future all the time, it'd be so hard. So Seers make pacts with demons to help control their visions so that they don't go mad, right? And so the Seer ends up having like a demonic entity in them. And that's where sort of the green magic comes from. The demonic entity comes out when they shatter, that sort of thing. And similarly, the Aeromancers, they're a group of individuals who can see like 1 second into the future. and that's why their arcane magic to use their bows is so good. They're very, very adept at shooting arrows and being very, very accurate. And there's a little bit of lore too that they might be using like the shattered magic to do that, because they're the only character when they shatter that has like orange shattered magic instead of the normal blue or red. So there's like this hint of collaboration rather than corruption there. And then the Lancer is my dude. This was the first guy or gal that was always in my head for the game, always. Very much in that style of leaping in the air with a spear from other JRPGs. And this was the first art piece that I got, and I kind of broke the cardinal sin of game design. And I'll say this, if you're designing a game, do not do what I did, which is commission your final art early before you even have a game. But I did that because I needed it to, one, spread out the costs over a very long time.
Yep.
And two, keep me going, because every time I got an art commission in, it was like juice, right?
Oh yeah.
I was like, I'm going. Like, I'm sure you get your Patreon art back and you're like, yes.
Yep.
Good. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's that little bit of extra motivation where it's like it makes you excited, right?
It does make you excited, yeah. So the Lancer is just this supporting, very strong, very healthy dude. And then if you want to flip his card over real quick, Dion, the Lancer has a really strong heart. So this is the only one of the few characters that can reduce their corruption when they're shattered because of how strong their heart is. And then the monk is I wanted to put a kind of a twist on a monk character, because we see them in Dungeons and Dragons and all these other things. I thought it would be really awesome if this order of monks were, that this individual is a part of. They're pacifists and they're not supposed to use their prowess to fight. Ooh. But this character did end up fighting in some fighting pits, and therefore was marked with the marks of banishment, so can no longer be a part of this monkish order. So that's why this character has those red marks all over their body, because they're banished from being a monk. So I wanted every character to have this ragtag feel, like really kind of Dirty Dozen or Seven Samurai. Like they've all come together for a reason. They're all loners for a reason. Like probably my favorite character, the Arithmagician. And yes, you are reading that right, Arithmagician, not arithmetician, not magician. This is a magical math user.
I remember when you showed me this character, I just giggled to myself. It's hilarious.
It's incredible. It's my only I guess the Siren is sort of non-humanoid. Yeah. But this is kind of like an orcish thing, and whatever you want it to be. But the Arithmagician's really good at math. So good at math that combining it with magic allows them to change the die faces.
Solid.
Yeah. So my dice, no, I agree. The Arithmagician it's super cool. Only knows how to add though for some reason. He can't subtract.
That happens. I mean, subtraction is just addition in the opposite direction.
I mean, if you talk to arithmeticians, they'll tell you subtracting is just adding negative numbers.
There it is.
That's
there
right.
It is.
That's the rough breakdown of them.
Yeah, and for anybody who's wondering, like the size, these are tarot card size when it comes to the characters. Actually, I have some of the prototypes here. You can see, compared to my face, how big one of these are. It's one of those tarot size cards.
Yeah, they're nice. They look really good. The art comes out really good.
It looks so pretty.
Yeah, I didn't want them to feel like small, like a regular, because the ability cards are poker sized, which we'll get to in a minute. But these cards are, they look good. They look good. And if you get the deluxe edition of the game, they come in a foil variant.
Spicy foil. I like pretty things, so it's cool.
I know you do. All right,
let's go ahead. Let's flip over to the trailer, and we'll meet you guys back on the other side.
The nostalgia of JRPGs comes to your tabletop with Encounters Shattered Wastes, a cooperative experience where you and your companions fight to slay dangerous enemies. Choose from 8 characters with different playstyles and traits. Use the power of the Shattered Wastes to customize your character using hundreds of combinations. Will they be a martial powerhouse, a damaged tank, or a master sorcerer? Each deadly enemy provides a varied gameplay experience, where you must use your character's abilities to survive by unleashing powerful attacks, channeling traits for unique buffs, or by triggering reactions that combo off your team's successes. However, your enemies are not without their own abilities. Each round, the enemy will do more damage, afflictions, and rage attacks, bringing your characters closer to defeat. In encounters, when you are pushed to your limits, your character can embrace the corruption and shatter. Dark power, at the cost of increased fragility, could turn the tide of battle. And when the enemy shows its true form, you will decide if victory is worth a shattered soul. Encounters Shattered Wastes.
Is victory worth the shattered soul, Ryan? Is it?
Is it? No, it's not. It's not worth it. I found that voice actress on Fiverr.
She's good.
She's so good. Her description was, "I will do a dark fantasy Galadriel voice for you," and I was like, I don't know what other kinds of people are hiring her to do that, but I know what I need.
Yeah. Oh man, so good. So good. But yeah,
no, there's an echo on me.
I just fixed it. Fixed
okay.
it. Okay. But yeah, so as of right now, 88% funded. If you want to check it out on Kickstarter, !ESW. For those of you on Twitch, if you're on YouTube, it's in the description. Just click the link, and it's you'll be able to go straight there. All right, let's go ahead. Let's shift this camera.
Wait.
What?
You're not getting out of this easy, Dion.
Today's not about me. It's not about me.
No. You're being so kind. They all heard it. You all just watched that trailer. Who composed the dope music for that trailer? Who did that?
That's a guy. A guy. It was me. I did it.
It was you. You did it. You did the music for Encounters, and it's so good. Also, I want to give shouts to Annie Myers, who also composed some music for me earlier. That was, great. But as my trailer continued to change and more, we pivoted the direction pretty dramatically. And you did such a great job, Dion, on this music. I sent you like 1,000 references, and I don't know anything about music. And so we had a lot of back and forth, which basically came down to less horns.
We figured out Ryan doesn't like trombones. This is what we discovered.
That's what it was, the trombone. I hate that instrument. I don't know why.
Something about it, you just don't like it. That's okay.
Every time I hear a trombone, it just was off. It just wouldn't work. But
yeah.
We will have. I mean, if we get one of our highest stretch goals, Dion will compose way more music, a lot more. But this, the main theme for the Shattered Wastes in both chiptune and normal version is it's a banger.
It was a lot of fun to work on. I've been doing a lot of writing lately, but for me, I knew that I had the skills to pay the bills, and Ryan's like, right, I'm working on this game, and I just put it out there. Let me write some music. Here's some stuff that I've done. I know that it's not in your wheelhouse, but it shows that I have some skills. Give me a chance. And
you do have the skills, dude. It's the vibe is like a tough one to get, because it's like you need it. It's battle music, right?
Yeah.
So you need something upbeat to keep people going, but you need to still have that morose sort of sadness left too. So, yeah. But, oh, you know what? Now that you mention it, there's that rhythm game Trombone Hero.
Yeah.
I think maybe that's a game I should never play.
Probably.
Probably not. All right.
Alrighty. Well, with that, Ryan, I think we should play a game. I do want to address a couple of questions before we jump into it.
Great.
One of our viewers, Isophane, who's really well known in the X-Wing community, it seems like he's interested in pledging to be able to get multiple copies. He wants to get multiple copies so that we can give them away. Essentially, that's his thing. He's just like, I want stuff so we can give more people stuff. Is there a way for him to do that? And if so, maybe this is a side conversation to have, but let's...
Yeah, so he can absolutely do that. The way that we would handle something like that is he would do sort of his pledge and pledge an amount for however many versions of the game he wants. So, if he is doing, I don't know, like 2 copies of the game, he pledges whichever version, and then in additional funding, and he would, bonus, whatever, he would do however much extra. And then when it comes time to use the pledge manager after the Kickstarter, that would just credit him however many extra versions of the game that he wants. And then what I can do on my end is if I coordinate on the side with him, we can talk about like where those copies are being sent to.
Fantastic. So Isophane, just want to make sure you heard that. So go ahead, adjust your pledge so that it fits the amount, the number, the cost of the game times however many copies you want to get. That's essentially what it'll end up being, right?
I will say if there's international shipping involved to whoever these giveaways are going to, I'm getting some flack.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I'm getting some flack on my international shipping numbers right now. I will just say that running a Kickstarter is difficult, and I'm very much looking into reducing those prices dramatically. It's just taking a bit of time.
Yeah, I'll be very forward with it. If you're on international, my assumption is that you have currently the current plan is a single place from where these are shipping from.
Yep,
it's
in the U.S. Yep.
It's probably in the U.S. Yep. And there needs to be a certain amount of, like, for instance, if you reached a certain critical mass where it was cost effective to have a secondary port from which they are shipping from, then that probably works.
Right.
Something along those lines.
Once I can get to a point where I feel as though I can get at least like 10 or 20 copies of the game in other regions, that makes it viable to use fulfillment houses in the UK for like Europe, and fulfillment houses in Australia for Australia and New Zealand, right? Yeah. So I'm working on it. There's just a lot of quotes involved, and as it turns out, global shipping is a hot mess still.
Yep. I know about that one. Oh yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah. Awesome. But yeah, let's crunch through a game here, and let's give the people what they want.
That's right. All right. So I think we talked a little bit beforehand that you wanted that we'll have 3 characters total. You're going to go ahead and control 2. I'll control 1. And the last time we played, I played as the Aeromancer, and that's my fam right there. So I'm gonna
go
ahead.
Aeromancer is incredible. So let's do the Aeromancer, the Arithmagician. That's a 1 damage. You know what? Let's go crazy. And let's get the monk involved.
Okay.
I love me the monk, because that means we got some. You know what? We don't have any support on the. I don't care. We're good. We don't need the support. We don't need the Lancer. We don't need them.
We're gonna button mash our way through this, right? This is a video game simulation. We're gonna button mash.
That's right. We got a lot. So let me pull out. They were already in there. I forgot that they're already in there. So let me grab the monk here. Just drop it there. There's your guy. And if you play the TTS mod, each of these standees have states. So if you highlight over them and press 1 or 2, they'll change their shattered forms. I did basically the whole TTS mod myself with a little help from others, but it's great for clicking and moving things. There's zero automation at all whatsoever. I have no idea how to do that. So any of you TTS wizards out there want to hit me up, let me know.
I'm sure there's some people who could help you out there.
So the first thing that we do, Dion, is we set our stats, right?
Yep.
So you'll see that the Arithmagician has 5 health and 12 magic. It's a lot of magic, but he's very squishy. I'm just going to say he for the Arithmagician because this is my version of the Arithmagician. So I'm going to gender them he.
Sure.
And then the monk's going to be a she for me. A whopping 11 health, 8 magic. And this bottom stat's threat, and we can address that later. But it starts at 0. And then you begin with 7 and 9. So, be good.
Hype.
Hype. So the next thing that we do is probably I think one of the most fun parts of the game, and it's the drafting mechanic. So there are all these ability decks, the Martial deck and support, sorcery, and items, otherwise known as the sword, shield, hat, and bottle. And at the bottom of your character card, you have various numbers that tell you how many cards you draw from each one of these decks. Okay. So the sword deck, it's much more attack heavy. The support deck is much more helping your friends heavy, and sorcery is a bit of both, right?
Yep.
So, and then items just give you like one use powerful things. Every character has they lean a certain way. The Aeromancer leans in attack and magic. The monk leans in, sword and a little bit of everything else. And the Arithmagician is very much magic and items. So what we'll do is we'll draw 8 cards, and then we choose 3 to keep. So you get a little bit of variety in there. So,
and you can choose how. So we're taking how many of each do I take?
So it's at the bottom of your card. So you'll take 2 swords, 1 shield, and 5 magic.
So right here.
Oh, look at you! Wow, that was nifty.
I had a feeling it would work. I'm glad it did. All right. So we're gonna take. For me, it's gonna be 2 attack, 1 support, 5 magical abilities.
5 magical abilities. Item 2.
5 and 0 items. I remember that actually ended up being pretty tough.
I mean, items are very, very good.
They're
right?
really good, yeah.
They're incredible. And then we got this. Okay.
So Chules34 has a question. It says, what was the thing about bonus support? So when you pledge, there is an option to add extra money onto your pledge.
Yeah, it's great. So if you want extra copies of the game, I mean, there will be extra shipping prices incurred, but if you wanted 2 copies of the game, you could pledge, 55 is the base. You could pledge 110, and then in the pledge manager, you play, you absolutely did that right, Isophane. That's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
we're what is that? 1,500 away.
We are.
Right? Is that math? No, 23.
2,300.
I'm bad at math.
Oh my God, we're so close. We're so close. My heart. So yeah, you could pledge bonus copies, and in the pledge manager, you'll have a credit to get however many versions of the game that you paid for, basically.
Man, so you can get your Christmas shopping done right now. For when the game comes out, you're like, here you go, Merry Christmas, Encounter Shattered Waste.
Christmas 2024, maybe.
That's fine. That's fine though. It's future planning.
It is future planning. All right, so now we do a really cool thing where we pick the 3 abilities that we want. So, Dion, your Aeromancer has a trait that's really awesome that is all about using ability attacks. So you want to pick abilities that have the attack header on the sub header thing. So you drew you drew a ton. You have a lot of options.
Yeah.
You have Blade Blossom and Fire Monsoon, Twin Strike, Flash Beam, Orthogonal Blitz, Glacial Blitz. I mean, you have so many. And anytime you use an ability attack, if you're in the back line, which is the back part of the board, you'll deal damage to wounds, which is really, really good. And if you're in the front line, your threat is reduced.
All right. So for sake of time, I'm trying to remember some cards that I've used already in past I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to grab... I remember Blade Blossom was always really, really good.
Blade Blossom is incredible. I would say that Twin Strike is also very, very good because it's pretty cheap. And Glacial Blade is also very good because it's pretty cheap. Hex Bolt is also cheap and good. Hex Bolt actually might be the best one out of these to grab.
Yeah. All right. I'll take your recommendations here. I'll take Hex Bolt. Let's see. Is this Shield of Hope? What do you think for this situation? While in the front line, if your HP is reduced, each character in the back line gains that much MP.
So that's pretty good, but your health is 7. You want to be avoiding losing health. Shield of Hope's really great for like the monk. Like if I had drawn Shield of Hope with the monk, I probably would have taken it.
All right, cool. So we'll put that aside. Not gonna take it. No, thank you. Let's see. If you roll below a 7, this attack is a critical damage with Flash Beam.
Yeah, Flash Beam's pretty cool. It just automatically hits.
Yeah, let's go ahead and grab that. We'll take the. So is it worth having Hex Bolt and Blade Blossom?
Yeah, I mean the more options you have, the better, because Blade Blossom attacks everything.
All right. So and how many cards in total am I allowed to keep again?
You get to keep 3.
All right. I think I'm gonna go ahead and take these 3. I'm gonna just take a quick peruse. Attack 0 die. Man, that Glacial Blade, it seems...
Glacial Blade's also really, really good. That might be better than Flash Beam, honestly.
Yeah, to be able to manipulate the cards a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to take those 3. I'm going to take Blade Blossom, Hex Bolt, and Glacial Blade. And we'll cover, those of you who are watching, we'll cover what they do as we continue. I need a refresher, but also so you guys know what's going on.
Yeah, we're gonna go with the monk. We're gonna do one of each spread, and not because I just want to show off different cards, but honestly because, there we go. Because I like them. So I picked Respite, so I can reduce the threat of a character to 1 in my area. It's basically an item, but it's really cool. Spirit Bond, which lets me reduce threat from adjacent characters. And Sweeping Slash, which would be like my big attack card. And then the Arithmetician will not use Reckless Sacrifice, but he will use Comet Storm, Necrotic Arts, and Empowering Drop Plus. So we'll take an item with him. And if you're watching and you don't understand everything that's happening, that's absolutely fine. The rule book, we have tons of how to play videos on the website. And also the rule book has a first player walkthrough where the first time you read it, you don't even read the whole rule book. You just read anything that's in red, and then that teaches you how to play the game.
I think that's massive, by the way. Like my teacher heart loves that, Ryan. You try to reduce as much of the difficulty as possible. Just play. Just go play. You'll figure it out.
That's right. I already set up the enemy. There's a whole kind of step on how the enemy scales for how many characters we have. We're not going to kind of super touch on that, but he's already all set up. This is the Harvester, by the way. The Harvester is a big magical golem that walks around a place called the Grave of Faces, where he turned a bunch of people to stone and carved off their faces and put them on his body. So, on its body. So, well, we get to place our characters anywhere on the board. So I'll put the Magician back here, and then the Monk kind of here in the front line.
All right, cool. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to adjust the camera for our folks just to have the board a little bit more in view. And as needed, Ryan, I can switch to my personal camera view, and we can float around and go see what we need to see. Alrighty. So I got my 3 cards right here. Let's see. From my abilities, I believe the backline seems like it's a good idea. So we're gonna do. We'll go right there to get started.
The Harvester is a little trinophobia, Chambly. That is absolutely something that's going on. The fear of a lot of holes. It used to be significantly worse. I had to fix it to make it better because a certain friend of ours just couldn't even play with it. So it's gotten better over time, if you can believe it. All right, so the first step that we do, Dion, is I'm going to clone these dice. Actually, I don't know if I can. I can't. You have to clone them. I'm not the owner. Oh, too many times, but...
That toss those you don't need.
Okay, so the first thing we do is called the refresh phase, and Encounters is played in 3 phases that keep going forever until the game is over. The goal of Encounters is all these cards on the table. These are the enemy's strength cards. They represent its health and its physical ability to harm you. All you have to do is get all these cards into wounds. You wound all the strength into wounds, you win. That's
Easy.
it.
Done.
Easy.
Done. Just pick up the cards and put them in, right? That's how it works?
Yeah, right, exactly. And we handle that in 3 phases. There's the refresh phase, the action phase, and the defend phase. In the refresh phase, this is where cards come from the strength of your foe is pulled from its stamina and is put on kind of out into the battlefield. So if you look at the Harvester, they have a refresh value of 3. So that means each character, there are 3 characters, roll 3 dice, and that's how many cards get pulled out. So why don't you roll 3 dice, Dion, and we'll see what happens.
All right, we'll go ahead. We'll grab these. We'll go ahead and bump up the size here, make it a little easier for people to see at home. Let's go ahead. We'll take a look. We'll roll them. And 2, 4, 2. So what do these numbers represent? I just did that.
There are 5 areas on the board. An area is like this row here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so when you roll that number, that's where the strength card is placed. So 2, because we always go from lowest to highest.
Right.
And then 4. So now there are a lot of cards, a lot of strength in this area of the battlefield, which roughly represents like the enemy defending that spot a lot harder or using that to like try and hurt us. This is all a rough approximation. Just like in JRPGs or any turn-based system, no one is standing there taking turns hitting each other. It's all just a little theater of the mindy. Right,
exactly. That's that RPG part of it. You're imagining how this would go. Now, quick question. I noticed there's no 6 on the side of that board. What happens if I would have rolled a 6?
Nothing, which can be good or bad. So 6s are no card is pulled from stamina, and sometimes you want that and sometimes you don't want that. Then we'll talk about that.
Right, because the goal is to get all those cards into wounds, and if they're not coming out, you can't, right? Like there's interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So if you look at stamina, right, there are cards in stamina. There's also this empty pile called fatigue. Okay. And this is probably the most complicated part of Encounters. So bear with me. Right now, the Harvester is guarded. This token is blue, which means any damage we deal to the Harvester is just kind of going to go straight into fatigue. It's just going to tire him out, not actually hurt him. But once all the cards are out of stamina and there's nothing left, so if you think about it logically, there's no strength and stamina, the enemy does what's called staggering, just like any video game you've played. The enemy is staggered, and during that one turn, while it's staggered, any damage we deal goes straight to wounds. Then after that turn, everything in fatigue moves over to stamina. So as this deck of 12 cards gets thinner and thinner and thinner, the time between the enemy being guarded and staggered is going to reduce. So there's sort of a tempo built into the game. And this enemy comes at you hard and fast. Like he'll be staggered pretty quick because we're pulling a lot of cards every single round.
But he's also smacking us around too.
He's a bully, all right. So I rolled now for the monk, and the monk rolled a 2. Oh, this is exciting. 4, 4. And then we'll roll again for the Arithmagician. We didn't roll a single 6. Excellent. And then 3, 4, 5. So you might be thinking at home, you might be like, okay, why don't you just never attack?
Right.
If you never attack, then eventually all the cards will come out and you'll be able to dunk on them. Well, there's this fun number right here next to the refresh. That's 6.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at each area, the number of these little threat symbols, these almost exclamation point looking things in an area, if any area is over that 6 number of those symbols, so like area 2, for example, has 11 of these symbols.
Mm-hmm.
When we get to the defend phase, something very bad happens and hurts all of us. So we'll see if we get there. So, yeah, let's see. So that's it for the refresh phase. We accomplished that. We'll go into the action phase. And we take turns doing one of 2 action. You can do 2 actions out of a list of like 4 of them.
Okay.
And I will go first just as an example. Okay.
Yeah.
So I got the monk here, right?
Mm-hmm.
The monk needs to take care of some cards in this area.
Oh, yeah.
It's over that 6. We want them gone. So I'm going to do what's called a basic attack. So on your character card, you have a stat that tells you how many dice you roll in a basic attack. It's that 1. And when you roll this die, you're looking to roll over your threat value. So unlike something like Dungeons and Dragons, where the enemy has a defense value you're always trying to hit,
mm-hmm.
the threat value that you have is a representation of how much the enemy is defending against you.
Okay.
So right now the threat's 0. So I'm going to hit, but I'm still going to roll because, so I rolled a 1. Which is still above 0. So I hit. I deal 2 damage because the monk deals 2 damage every time they punch. The enemy is guarded. So these 2 guards go into fatigue. And now I gain the amount of threat removed from the board, which is 7. So my threat goes all the way up to 7. So now...
Okay. Yeah. So the more successful I am early on, it's going to be a little more difficult for me to hit later. So we're just not piling on. It is scaling. The difficulty is scaling within the battle.
Yeah, and so that's the resource management aspect of this. Your threat is definitely a resource because I just gained 7 threat for dealing that 2 damage. The enemy is guarding against me so much harder now because I'm a threat to it, which makes it a lot harder for me to hit. I'm also more tired, right? I just punched the heck out of this golem. So the monk has a great ability, though, which is after you complete an action, move 1 space or reduce your threat by 1. So I'm just going to reduce my threat by 1. And you'll notice that if I'm only rolling 1 die every time I attack, and my threat is 6, how am I ever supposed to hit it? Well, you do have a crit value. And if you ever roll that crit value on the die, you just automatically hit and really good things happen. But I'm sure the Arithmagician will show that off in a minute.
Yeah, and for people who are looking at it, the crit value on the monk is a 3. It was just barely out of frame.
Yep. So the monk is now going to take a recover action. That's one of the other actions you can do. You roll a die. You roll 1 die. And then you can either gain that much MP or reduce that much threat. So I rolled a 2. I'm going to reduce my threat by 2. And then I just completed an action. So I will now reduce my threat by 1 more. And I will flip this activation marker to show that I've activated. And that is the whole turn. I did 2 actions. I punched, I did my basic attack, and I recovered. So why don't you take a turn, Dion?
Yeah, absolutely. So here's a quick question. Turn order. Do you just go in a circle with a group of friends? Can you choose who goes when? How's that chosen?
You get to choose any order. Like any order you want, you can do it in. So, there is some rules if you have a hostile group at the table and no one can decide, you roll for it. But by and large, we collaboratively decide who goes every single round.
I love that. It's a co-op game, right? We're trying to beat this thing together.
We are. That's right. We got to take down the Harvester before he harvests more faces.
Oh, no. All right, so I have a single attack die on my card. So I'm going to go ahead and do that.
Would you like to do a basic attack, Dion, or would you like to try one of your abilities? Because
you're right.
The Aeromancer is great. He's in the back line, which is the back column here. And when the Aeromancer uses an ability attack, if the attack hits, the damage just goes straight to wounds because the Aeromancer is just really accurate.
All right. Well, you know what? Let's go ahead and do that. So, looking at my cards here, let's see. You must reroll 1s and 2s if you're in the back line, and place all cards.
Glacial Blade's not bad because if you end up rolling a 2 on Glacial Blade,
yeah,
all the cards in your area just get placed right into wounds, and you don't gain any threat.
Oh snap! Well, let's make it happen. All right.
Shoot some glacial arrows at this guy.
Glacial arrows coming in. We'll roll it. So we got a 3.
Okay, so that is above your threat of 0.
So that hits.
And you deal 1 damage whenever you hit with an attack. And that was an ability attack, so this is going to go straight to wounds, and you take 1 threat.
Boop. There it is.
And that also costs you 1 MP to use because that's the cost of Glacial Blade.
Great. And now this card is does not have a it says I have to flip the card if the special ability on this had triggered.
Right. But it did not trigger. So yes. But active abilities can only be used once per round. So you have to, if you want to do your ability again, you'd have to use a different ability attack. But that's why having Hex Bolt is really great because you could follow up with that.
All right, so I use that one. Let's go ahead and this attack deals 1 damage. Let's go for the Hex Bolt. This will cost 2.
That's right.
We'll spend it, and we will roll it. We got the 3,
which is above 1, which is great. And actually, Dion, Hex Bolt, very important, is a 2-die attack. You roll 2 dice.
You're right. It does say that right there. Active attack 2. So I rolled an 8.
So that's above.
That's above, right? So it smacks real hard.
And so you deal 1 damage again, and it goes straight to wounds, and you gain 1 threat.
And that's going straight to wounds because of my ability.
It's your trait. Yeah, your
my trait
of your Aeromancer is allowing you to use your ability. Whenever you do an ability attack, the damage goes to wounds, which is so great because the Aeromancer is just incredibly accurate. That's the arcane accuracy.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, Aeromancer did their job. We're going to go ahead and move that threat up. And I have activated this turn.
Correct. And great. You did a great job. The threat is now below 6 in this area. So we managed that very well. Next up, we're going to go with the Arithmagician. The Arithmagician is going to spend 2 MP for Necrotic Arts, which says, I do not gain threat from claw cards when performing this attack. So this is a good time to talk about kind of the enemy's different attacks. There are magical attacks, or this symbol, and that's a bad example. There are magical attacks, which are this symbol, and they will make your threat increase, which means it makes it harder to hit the enemy.
Right.
That other symbol we'll talk about later. Don't worry about that.
Before we go on to the next one, we just hit the 23,000 mark, Ryan. Just wanted to let you know.
We are less than 2,000 away, and if we get, I'm not going to say we are, but if we do get to 25,000 on this stream, I have a giveaway for somebody who's listening.
That's somebody. Right. We'll talk more about that giveaway as the possibility.
Dion
of
will
eat
a pickle live on stream. How much do you love me, buddy?
I love you a lot. I'll let you get away with that joke. I'll let you get away with it.
Okay, so, wow, man, it's so crazy. The claw cards, they deal damage to you. Again, ignore that eye symbol for now, but anything with that symbol, your health is going down. So the Arithmagician, this poor wizard, does not want to get hit by a claw card. So I'm going to use Necrotic Arts, which is an ability that costs me 2 MP. And I roll 1 die. And if the attack hits, I'm not going to gain any threat for it. So I'm going to roll this 1 die. And it hits because 3 is above 0. And it's going to go into fatigue. And I normally would gain 5 threat for it.
Right.
But I'm using necrotic magic. So I don't.
So nah, man. I'm out.
Nah. And then I'm going to take a move action. And so when you do a move action, you can move up to 3 spaces.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hide behind the monk. That seems like a good decision. And so that flips my activated token. I attack. I did a basic attack, and I moved. And that brings us to this defend phase. Now the enemy gets to punch us back. He gets to deal with us.
I said I was just gonna stand there. We fighting.
We fighting. So let's look at the monk here. And anytime, so we go through any areas that have characters in it,
right?
And whenever they share an area, so you know how the Rith Magician and the monk are in area 2.
Yeah.
Magic cards only affect the back line, and physical cards only affect the front line. So that
makes sense. I can grab you. I can magic you. You're farther away. Yeah.
Right. And so the idea is that if you have 2 characters, they can protect each other. The back line is protecting from the magical attacks because they are, absorbing the magic or whatever. And then the front line are absorbing the more physical, dangerous blows. And that's how, if, my very squishy Arith Magician can stay safe by hiding behind this, this chunky monk. So this is going to get revealed. And that flips, and that just affects the Arith Magician. So gains 1 threat. No big deal. And then this flips over here, and it's going to affect the Aeromancer because there's no one in the area.
Right.
So no one to protect him, and the Aeromancer will take 1 damage. So you go from 7 health to 6 health. And that's it for the defend phase. And we go back to the refresh phase where we will take turns rolling 3 dice.
Let's make it happen. All right. So let's see. For the Aeromancer, 6. So we're gonna skip out. Oops, those were 5.
5. Yep.
Okay. So 6. So nothing happens. And then for these 2 dice, we're gonna go ahead and stack up 2 cards into that 5th area.
Bingo. Perfect.
All right. Awesome.
Then I will roll for the monk. So now area 5 is looking a little spicy.
Mm-hmm.
I will roll. So this is where rolling 6s is bad, Dion, because there are 4 cards left in stamina. We're trying to get it staggered, but if we roll too many 6s, it's not going to stagger. So I roll 2 there, which is not good. Only 1 card comes out. So on this last roll, there are 3 cards in stamina. I'm really hoping I don't roll any 6s, because then we have to wait an entire another round before we're able to bully it.
Let's go.
No, I rolled 1 6. No, rolled 1 6. So that means we have to wait an entire another round.
In a whole other turn, yeah.
Yeah. So it's pretty dangerous times here for sure. 4, 8, 12. Yeah. So let's go back into the action phase. We'll flip our activated tokens. Oops, not that.
Oh no! Don't shatter!
No,
not yet.
Not yet. Not yet. And we get to try and fight it once more.
All right. And this, with the cards stacking up in different spots, is why the move mechanic as an action is important. Like, that is a resource in and of itself.
Yeah, and as we talk about like in X-Wing, your actions are really precious, right?
Right.
So if somebody can grant me a boost action so I don't have to spend an action to boost, that's sometimes really good. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of support cards that let you move characters around, so you don't have to waste a precious action that you could be using attacking instead on it, But as it stands, it's we're in pretty good position here. So do you want to try and go first, Dion?
Yeah, let's make it happen. All of my special abilities are up, and I'm in the back line, so I'm gonna fire one of these. I think I will go ahead and just go for that Glacial Blade again.
Yeah, absolutely.
It costs 1. I'm digging for that 2 because we can maybe stack up all those cards into.
Actually, Dion, you know what? If that's what you're going to do, let's try something a little different here.
All right.
Let me go first with the Arithmagician.
All right.
And let me just do a regular basic attack into the card in front of me, which is a 6, which hits. So I'll put that into Fatigue, and I'll gain 3 to 4. And I'm going to do a move. 1, 2, 3. And now I'm in your area. We're sharing an area. So
yep.
we'll stay there for now.
All right, awesome. So the Arithmagician is done. Let's go for it. Single die. Here comes a Glacial Blade.
Glacial Blade.
Got the 3.
You did get the 3, but so it misses, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because your threat is a 3. But I'm the Arithmagician. I know Mutamancy, which means I can add. So I'm going to spend 3 magic. And I'm going to increase your die face by 1 to a 4.
Oh, so the Arithmagician is not just affecting himself?
Oh, it's just when a character in your area rolls dice. I'm currently in your area. I'm using my number magic to help you change your dice and make you stronger.
Thank you for your number magic. I appreciate it. All right,
so
I hit.
So this is going to go to wounds, right? And you will gain that 1 threat.
Yep, and this goes up. Very nice. Love it. Okay, so that was my first my first action, correct?
Yes.
Was attacking. Now and so now I can attack again, just like I did. I can attack twice if I needed to move. Maybe this is where I would have moved, but I think right now. Do we just pop off? Just keep firing the arrows. Get that DPS going. What do you think?
If you do Hex Bolt again, like it's a 2-die attack, you're pretty much definitely gonna hit.
All right, let's make it happen because we need to get greater than 4. We're looking for five or more.
And Hex Bolt is a 2-die attack, so you're really likely to do that, which is great.
All right, so my magic power is going to go from 5 to 3. Going to spend the 2 points there. It's a 2-die attack, and we're digging for 5 or greater. Let's
digging
go.
For 5 or greater.
6.
Oh, we got it. You're good.
Got it. So we're going to go ahead and that hits. One of those cards goes straight to wounds. And I'm also going to gain, that's a single threat. I'm going to gain 1 threat, goes up to 5.
Perfect. And then my monk is going to, we're going to move because I really want to take out that card. So we're going to roll. Hope I don't roll. Oh, I took an action, so I'll reduce my threat by 1, which is great. And then I'll roll and hope I don't roll a 1. 5. Okay, so
got it. There you go.
So both of these are going to go to fatigue, which puts us below the thing, which is really good. But I do gain 8 threat, so it puts me to 10.
Ooh.
Minus 1 because of my ability to 9. So the monk just leaping forward, pop, and just taking out a couple of those cards to put us in good shape. And that's it for the monk. So now we'll go to the defend phase. We did a good job keeping everything good. You gain 2 threat on the Aeromancer, though.
Oh, okay, so it's going to make it a little bit harder to hit.
Yeah.
I'm up to 7.
And then the monk is going to take 1 damage. That's fine. So this eyeball, you only deal with that if you're shattered, which we're not. So that's going to go over to fatigue. And then we go, that was defend, back to refresh, and we roll some dice.
Let's make it happen. And just like from a perspective, understanding that it's called the defend phase because we as the heroes are defending versus the big bad versus that boss.
That's right. So I have a question in the chat. When does the fatigue cards go back into stamina? After it's staggered, and we'll talk about that in a second because it's about to be staggered. So roll some dice, Dion.
Let's make it happen. 3 dice.
Roll those 3 dice.
Shake them up. So we got a 2.
2. Now it's staggered. There's nothing in stamina, so we pull from fatigue. 2, 2, 5. And then I will roll 3 dice. 1.
All right, 2's getting stacked up a little bit.
Yep. 2, 2. And then we'll roll 1 more time. Double 6, so just 4. But that's okay. That's okay. So area 2 needs to be dealt with. Actually, also area 1 needs to be dealt with. So we have to use precious move actions to get over there, unless we can find another way to get rid of some of these cards.
Now, for movements, how many spots is moving? What's your limit?
3. 3 is the most.
3 is all right. So the monk is a little far away.
The monk can move 1 extra space though, as part of her trait.
Okay, that's good.
So I could get all the way over there with the monk if I wanted to, but also I need to deal with my threat, which is like absurdly high.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure how useful the monk will be. You also have very high threats.
I'm at 7. Like Hexbolt will probably has a good chance of cutting through that, but there's a risk there. So one of my potential actions is to be able to reduce my threat, but it's reducing it by only 1, correct?
It's 1 die. So you roll a die and reduce it by the number rolled.
All right. All right, cool. Hey, Lancers on deck. Is this where I want to be? Well, we're talking about Encounters Shattered Wastes. Ryan Farmer here from Fly Better designed this game. He's been working on it for years. And today was the launch of his Kickstarter. If you want to take a look at the game, !ESW. That's the initials for the game. You can take a look. We are, Ryan, we're at 23,400.
Oh my God, we are so
total.
close.
We're so close. That bar is getting smaller and smaller and smaller.
Fingers crossed, buddies. Yeah. So, Dio, I have something that I would do, but part of the fun of the game is figuring out the puzzle yourself. So, what do you think you would do in this situation?
So obviously we need to. So let's take a second. If we were not to deal with this, you said we got to deal with this.
Yeah.
Why do we need to deal? What happens if we're just like, just leave it alone?
So I mean, it could be fine, but the Harvester has a special ability called Foundation of Sorrows.
Okay.
And if that number is exceeded, he's going to pull out one of these rage cards. It's a special card, so I won't reveal that. But let's pull like a rage card out of like the Spectre over here.
Yeah.
That's not that deck. Sorry. This one. So like they're usually like very bad, like Marrow Slash and what's this one? Oh God, Menacing Howl.
Yeah. So that is take that many threat, take that much damage. That's woof.
Skull. Yeah. The TTS mod is available. It's on the Kickstarter page. So if you scroll down to the Kickstarter page, there's a button that says Tabletop Simulator, and it'll bring you straight to the mod.
There you go.
So there you go. So this rage card will pop out, and something bad will happen. That's only because it's the Harvester. Normally, when that limit is exceeded, this card would be revealed and affect everybody. But
okay.
The Harvester has like an overriding ability because it does some really cool stuff. But yeah, that's why we want to deal with those. Or we could just like play roulette and see what happens. Because
well, we didn't do that in Vegas. We didn't play roulette.
We didn't play roulette. We played craps.
We did.
I was sweaty then too.
Oh yeah. Okay. Oh man. So I have up to if I move 1, 2, I'd be able to make it there. I pop off a hex bolt, hope to hit, and that would drop off a total of 3. But then we would still have how much? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Yeah. It's really tough because we want to deal wounds to it right now. Like that's
right. This is the time to do damage, right?
Yeah, we got to get some of these cards off the table. But the problem is like we are in bad shit. We didn't manage our resources well to be able to help. So I would say, or maybe you don't go first. Maybe like I go first instead.
Yeah.
Right. So think about your turn. Let me go with the monk. I am going to do Dion. I'm gonna do something dumb.
Okay. All right. Now, while you're thinking about that something to do, Lambolo in the chat's asking, how do I donate towards this game effort? There's a couple ways. You can pledge and essentially buy your copy of the game via Kickstarter, or there are definitely people who say, hey, I just want to support this. I don't need a copy of it. There is a section at the top of the Kickstarter pledge section that says basically you can donate X amount of money towards the campaign.
I would appreciate it. And I'll actually say, like, one of the reasons doing it now is really important is Kickstarter is a really weird thing marketing wise.
Yeah.
Being funded on your first day is so crucial for marketing, because then you can say you were funded in the first day and use that as advertising to get more backers elsewhere. And so that's why, like, there's such a big push at the beginning. So you're trying your hardest to kind of get your goal as quickly as you can.
Yeah, because that's about starting to extend the reach of the game, right? Because then there's I feel like especially for Kickstarter, there's different tiers of people. Right now, we're hitting the first two circles, right? It's the people who know Ryan Farmer and the people who know Ryan Farmer, right? And after that, you're going to start, hopefully, I'm going to speak it into existence. We're going to hit the goal today, all right? We're going to get it. And there's people who just peruse, like, hey, I'm curious about what's on Kickstarter. What are some cool games that exist? Oh, look, this got funded in a day. Let me check it out.
Right? Another good thing is
there are people who believe in it.
And the other good thing, too, is you don't Kickstarter doesn't actually collect your money until the end of the campaign. So it just kind of puts your order on hold until 23 days from now, and then they'll charge it at the end of the campaign as well. Okay, let's figure out this puzzle here. I said I was going to do something dumb.
Let's go. Let's get it done.
So I'm gonna move with the monk, and I am going to reduce my threat by 1. Actually, before I do something dumb, taking it back. Let's move with the Arithmagician to here. 1, 2, 3. And the Arithmagician is going to just try to attack this area.
Yep.
We'll spend 2 for Necrotic Arts again. Rolled a 3. Oh, my threat, I missed. My threat's 4.
No!
I missed.
No!
Oh no, I missed.
All right. We can survive this. All right, we gotta keep things going. Oh man, missing there was tough.
That's a tough one. I still might be able to save us with the monk, maybe.
All right. I mean, we can get slapped around a little bit. 6 health. The monk's got.
We have the resources to get slapped a bit.
All right. So what do you think, Ryan? Do I just stay put? We take the consequences twice, but we could potentially get 2 wounds, maybe 1. But man, my threat is already at 7.
Might be good to recover, and then depending on how much you recover, you could try Blade Blossom, maybe.
All right. So we haven't taken a look at Blade Blossom yet in the game. Let me go ahead and take a peek at that for everybody here. So Blade Blossom says, as I awkwardly fumble for picture. All right. So it says it's a 2-dice attack. This attack deals 1 damage, so moving 1 of the cards. Choose an area to target for this attack. When this attack is resolved, you may target another area if you have not attacked with this ability this round to perform this attack again. So it says to attack. I can choose any area. I don't have to move.
No,
right?
you can literally You can choose it and then gain that much threat and go, you know what? Let me attack a different area.
Yeah.
And you can do it up to 5 times.
Let's go. Let's go for the Blade Blossom. We have the magic power. We only have 3 magic power, so this
Well,
will be
you'll probably want to recover first, right?
Yeah.
Because your threat is so high.
So we're gonna recover, and I know I roll a die. Could you remind me the recovery mechanic again?
Yep. So roll a die, and then you choose to either gain that much MP or reduce your threat by the amount rolled.
But I'm not allowed to split them. I have to choose one or another.
Yeah, it's one or the other. Correct.
All right.
Oh, let's go! Let's go!
Hey! Oh man. Okay. 6. Okay. So obviously I could get that threat all the way down.
All the way down to 1, which is great because you have Blade Blossom.
Let's go. Let's do it. All right. We'll spend it there. All right. All right. Oh! Okay. Let's do it. All right. Then we're going to Blade Blossom. We're going to spend the 3 MP. It's a 2 dice attack. All right. We're going to get it, right? Anything better than a 1? So we roll as a formality. It's in the rules.
Which area do you want to attack?
Oh,
first?
this is true. This is true. I mean, we go. So if we attack the area number 1, right? We knock off 1. We automatically don't have to worry about the consequences there. I'm thinking about going there first.
So if you do area 1, you'll gain 3 threat.
Right.
And then for your next attack, your threat will be 4. So we have to roll over that, right? So I like area 1. I mean that's pretty good because we have to take care of those.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and do that. So that's going to move this to wounds, correct?
Yes, correct.
And
you gain 3.
Gain 3. Pop. So we're at a oops. Grab the little QB. There we go. We're up to 4 threat. And now it's my, I can trigger the Blade Blossom ability because the attack is resolved. I can choose another area and do it again. Do I have to pay those 3 points again?
No.
Or
Nope.
this is all part. It's a package deal.
It's a package deal. Yeah,
Yes.
you're just shooting blades. You're blade blossoming everywhere.
All right, let's make it happen. Here we go.
It is TLT. That's exactly what we're doing.
All right. Well, I got a 5. That's what I needed. I needed a minimum 5. It hits. All right, and we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take care of that stack right there.
Yeah. So that will go straight to wounds, and it will go to wounds anyway because it's staggered, but also because of your ability.
Yeah. And so now my threat is back up to 7, but was lucky enough to manage those resources. Man, that roll on the recover money. Absolute money.
So now you can choose to attack again these other areas, or you can just stop.
All right. So now the cost for Blade Blossom, the cost of doing it again is the fact that I'm racking up threat, right? Yeah. So I can end up maxing. I'm going all out this turn, and I have to pay for it later.
Yeah. That's yep.
Okay. You know, I feel like for us not to get smacked again, I feel like taking the risk. I'm feeling lucky, Ryan.
You're feeling lucky. All right, where are you attacking?
I think I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go for this. I'm gonna try to clear it. I'm gonna try.
So you have to attack. I believe Blade Blossom. Unless I'm bad. You may target another area you have not attacked with this ability.
Okay, so maybe it's not worth it then. If I can't attack that same area, it may not be worth it.
Might not be worth it.
All right, you know what? I'm gonna hold on to my 7th threat, and we'll go there. We'll flip the token,
boom,
and call it.
So I'm gonna move with the monk. The monk is going to move to here. We're gonna reduce my threat by 1. I'm gonna spend 3 for sweeping slash.
Yeah.
So sweeping slash says, if you are in the front line and this attack hits, deal 1 damage to each adjacent area. Gain threat for damage dealt as normal. So I'm just going for it all, man.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Here we go. I'm gonna roll. Oh, not that guy. I'm gonna roll 2 dice.
I'm gonna roll this guy.
6, 7, 8. It's a real shame that I rolled an 8. But what if the arithmagician can make that 2 a 3?
Yes.
To make this a 9, which now hits. Math. So now I deal 2 damage, 1, 2, straight to wounds, and I deal 1 to each adjacent area, going straight to wounds, and I gain a bucket of threat to 12. And so sweeping slash allowed me to get rid of a bunch of these cards, but Dion, I've maxed out my threat.
Oh no, what happens?
I can't contain the corruption any longer. And I shatter.
Oh.
Bum, bum, bum. So when you shatter, when your threat reaches 12, you can also shatter as an action if your threat is like untenable.
Yeah.
But your character standee changes. Your card flips because you can't hold off the corruption anymore.
Yep.
And you get a new ability. All your stats reset, but your MP goes away, and instead you have corruption. And so if your corruption ever gets too high, so the monk has a corruption limit of 5. If she ever goes over a 5, she is removed from the board and dies.
Oh man.
Or is maybe not dead. I don't know. Succumbs to corruption, I suppose. Mm-hmm. You also get new abilities. So
wait, what? So you the shattering process is you are remade.
I'm remade. I lost all my other abilities, but now I have an ability called Soul Tear or Soul Tear, whatever you listeners think it is, which is a super really good ability that we won't talk about right now.
Okay, and the number of cards, so I'm noticing on the bottom of this shattered card, there's a number 1 there. Does that mean, are there certain ones that have more than one ability card when they shatter?
Oh, yeah. Let's take a look at the Seer, for example. When the Seer shatters and her demonic form comes out, she gets 3 cards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so very cool. All right, so that's it for my monk. Everyone went, but we did a good job, and none of these rage cards are going to come out. But at what cost, Dion? What cost?
What did it cost? Everything.
So now this card will flip because we're in the defend phase, and the monk takes a precious damage into fatigue, and then the Aeromancer takes 1 more damage.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. Now everything in fatigue will go back into stamina. The enemy is guarded again because their card's in stamina.
Mm-hmm.
And then we will we'll reset our activation markers, go back to the refresh phase. Dion, roll 3 dice.
Nice. Now, real quick here, anybody who's maybe just joining us, this is a co-op game, but also, I know sometimes people are like, I don't have people to play board games with. You can play this as a solo player. There's nothing stopping you from doing this, just making those individual decisions per character. Similar to how you're playing 2 players at once.
Yeah, I play solo all the time. I mean, that's how I got most of the testing done, is playing by myself and pretending I'm somebody who, wants to break a game. All right, so you rolled 3, 3, 5, and now I will roll 3 dice.
Well, there's that 6.
Yep. 4. Or there's 1 card left, Dion. Do you think I can avoid rolling 3 6s?
Just don't roll. Come on. The stats on that are ridiculous. We got it. All right, we got it.
Just 2. So now a really interesting thing has happened. There are no cards in stamina or fatigue. So Dion, why don't we recover and see if we can deal 1 damage to him, and I can show you what happens.
All right, cool. So we'll recover. I roll 1 dice for that to figure out how many threat I'm going to get back. 3. So yep. 7 goes down to 4. And let's go ahead. And my magic is
you're tapped.
It's tapped. So this is going to be a normal regular attack, 1 die, and I'm looking to get a 5 or a 6.
Yep.
All right. Here we go. There we go. Toma.
There you go. You did it. So this is just a regular basic attack. You hit with a 5. Mm-hmm. So that's going to go into wounds because he's staggered, and you gain 4 threat. But the first time you deal damage to it, since there's nothing in stamina or fatigue,
Boo.
The enemy changes forms.
That's right.
So you oops, that's the wrong deck. It's over here. You crumbled the Harvester its golem form breaking down into thousands of faces swirling around in this magical purple mist. And so now um, we take everything from wounds, we put it back into stamina, but we also adjust this deck. So we're actually going to remove every single claw card out of the deck because its physical body's gone. It doesn't have anything. So in this case, we're removing cards from the deck. And then we're going to add one for each character, one of these magic cards. So 1, 2, 3. And then these will go into stamina. And now enemies guarded again because their cards back in stamina. So yeah, the harvester is just swirling around. Like you can see like all these faces on it be super mad.
I know for me, like that, like I think we've talked a little bit about the lore behind this. So this is like a harvester of souls, right?
Of souls, of faces, like, you know, whatever you want to imagine it is harvesting. That's what it's doing. Like initially you see all the faces on the body and you're like, oh, that's what it's harvesting, all these stone faces. But then it crumbles apart and you see all this swirling magic and you're like, what was it actually taking, you know?
Yeah.
So, okay, so let's see. You did one action, right? Oh, no, you recovered first, so you're done. Aeromancer's tapped out.
Tap, tap.
Tap, tap. Let me go with the monk. The monk is going to punch. So when the monk attacks, I get to roll 2 dice. Because now my basic attack value is 2. If I rolled a 6... Oh, it would be a crit if I had enough magic on the Arithmagician to turn it into that 3 into a 4.
Let's go. Yeah.
But I do not have enough magic. I'm almost tapped out with my poor Arithmagician. So it still hits. I would deal 3 damage, but I only have 1 card in front of me. So that's just going to go into fatigue.
Into fatigue, yep.
And I'll gain 3 threat. And then I'm actually going to move over here because I don't want to take any claw damage. And that's it for my monk. And my Arithmagician is just going to recover. Get some magic back. Oh, yeah. 6 magic. Let's go.
Nice. Ready to do
8.
some math again.
That's right. And then
8
I'll
is
recover
Wheaties. His brain is ready to go.
That's right. We'll recover one more time. Okay. This is actually the first crit we've rolled. So.
All right. So it was done off screen right here. So you rolled that too.
My crit value is a 2. When you crit on a recover, you can either reduce your threat to 0 or raise your MP to max. So that's like huge. Because, you know, a crit can save the day for you. And like the Aeromancer has a crit value of 1. So if you roll a 1, instead of just getting rid of 1 threat, you get rid of all of it. It's so good. So I'm going to reduce my threat to 0 on the Arithmagician.
All right, so the choice being there is like you're not ready to shatter yet. You want to make sure it's a little bit more difficult to hit with because he's only got typically 1 dice, and you have magic available to manipulate the dice as needed.
That's right. So let's go into this defend phase. So keep in mind this area limit is now 5. So we've got this one that's broken, but we'll get there in a second.
Yeah.
So here, there's no card, which means we pull out one of these rage cards. Remorse. I take 1 damage, and then I reduce my current threat by 3. So imagine like a sorrowful face hitting me. And the cool thing about rage cards is after they are revealed, they go to the bottom of the rage deck.
Yeah.
And there are only 5 rage cards per form. So you can actually memorize what's coming. So we just had remorse, right? So we know that in a few of these it'll come. And if you don't like the memory aspect of it, you can play with them face up too. Like whatever.
Like one of the things I do love about we spent a lot of time talking about like the narrative side of this, but with those cards you can build a little story. You deal depending on the order in which they come out. Like it really, the story part it gets me every time.
It is cool, yeah. Like some of I'll show you real quick. Like the Shattered God is the final boss that you fight.
Yeah.
So spoiler alert. I won't. So his rage deck, depending on the order of the cards that come out, changes his like final villain monologue. So it's like I said, like, I was once like you, used like a tool. You must not resist. Humanity is due, brave and a fool. Like, but then if it comes out in a different order, his monologue is like completely like different.
Yeah.
I just find that really funny and corny because like in other like JRPGs, like you've got these big villains giving their last final speeches and everything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the interesting thing about it is like if you can play those JRPGs and just button mash your way through it, and you're just there to finish the adventure, right? There are people who are there, but there are also like I always find it so interesting when somebody has really done a deep dive into a video game that I maybe have only played on the surface. But you can really, this scratches that storytelling that a lot of people like with D&D, but it's a little bit more structure in there if that's, that floats your boat.
Yeah, if that's something that you're into, right?
Yeah.
Solid. Let's keep going in the defend phase. So this card's breaking the area limit. So this is going to flip, and it's going to affect everybody.
All right, let's see what's the bad stuff.
Everybody takes 4 damage. So my Arithmagician gets put to 0, my Monk gets put to 1, and you get put to 2. So that's the danger of letting that area limit stay over, because you get popped with something like that and just really bad things happen. So that will go into fatigue. And now this card would reveal and hit me, but we have a new enemy trait: 10,000 empty emotions. When a strength card would be revealed during the defend phase, if the area limit's not exceeded, reveal a rage card instead. So a rage card's going to come out now. Oh, no! Anger!
No, we're dead. Everybody's dead.
No. It only affects me. This one only affects me, luckily.
Oh, okay.
But now I'm at 0, which is really, really bad, because there's no way for me to get health back. We didn't take any healing.
This is true. We went full damage.
I can't believe that just happened. Oh, my lust, my greed. My Monk's gonna die. So that's it for the defend phase. Now we will each roll 1 die, not 3, for the refresh phase, because that value went down. So let me reset this and this.
So that's interesting. That going down to 1 die on the harvester. It makes it slows down the pace of the battle.
Yeah, it completely changes it. Yeah, the tempo massively changes. So one thing that does happen is because this is empty, one card gets immediately pulled out and placed there. So we're rolling 3 dice. As long as we don't roll a 6, then this harvester will be staggered. But if we roll a 6,
we got 3 cards there for anybody. You guys can't see that.
Right?
Yeah,
that's right. So. How about it, Dion? You want to roll your 1 die? If you roll a 6, though, I'm gonna be mad at you.
All right, big money, but actually not a 6. Not that's anything but that.
Oh, wait, 3's good.
Easy.
3's good.
Easy.
And then I will roll 1 die. 2, that's good. And then 1 more. Let's just hope it's not a 6. Oh! No!
Oh man.
Oh no, my Monk. Oh my god. Okay. We have to support the Monk as much as possible, because oh
about
my god.
to get wrecked.
All right. I'm going to go with the Monk. No, I'm going to go with the Arithmagician first.
All right.
We're going to move here, and then we're going to recover because I want my MP back.
Mhm.
5. Okay, I'm putting my MP to maximum. We're all max. Oh, wait, no, I can't do that. I'm going to die. I'm at 0. Not going to do that. I'm going to shatter with my Arithmagician. So something you can do if you're at 0 health, you can voluntarily shatter. The Shattered Waste has pushed you to your limits. So you must instead, oh man. Before I shatter, I'm going to use this item on you for free. I'm going to use this Empowering Drought on you for free, Dion.
Ooh. What'd you do? You said roll. It says roll 2 dice, gain that much magic power. Let's go.
Then you may use an active ability.
Oh, okay. Let's just go slice some people up then. All right, so here we go. We roll 2 dice. Yeah?
That's right. Roll 2.
Here we go. Roll them.
You gain 8 MP to your max. So you gain 8, and now you can use an ability if you want. You can use Glacial Blade or Hex Bolt or whatever. Glacial Blade might be good because if you roll a 1 or a 2, you crit, right?
True. And it's a single die. Yeah, let's go for it. Let's go for a Glacial Blade, especially because my threat is so high, right?
Yes,
I'm digging for crits rather than the likeliness of trying to get over. Yeah.
Right.
All right, let's go for it.
And this isn't even your turn. Like, I'm still on the Arithmagician's turn.
3.
Okay, so it's a miss, but you got all that MP back, which is good. So this is flipped over. That was free. Items are free to use. They're free, 1 use. And then I'm going to shatter. So we're going to shatter. All these cards go away. The Arithmagician's health goes to 10 on this side. Chonky boy. 0 corruption. I get 2 shattered abilities. So Twisted Ritual and Orders from Beyond. And the Arithmagician has a new ability called Divide by 0. When a character in your area attacks, I can just change a die face to any side and then gain that much corruption. So again, if your corruption hits your maximum, which the Arithmagician has a max of 9, you succumb to it and you're removed from the board. So I've moved beyond just addition. And then if you look at the pixel art, he's holding up a little A over 0 magic.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Here, I'll flip screens here. There's our boy.
There he is. Shattered, but still mathing all the same. What a guy.
Always.
Then I get to attack because that was only 1 action that I did. So I'm going to roll 2 dice. Because now I rolled 2 dice. I rolled... You know what? What if I gained 3 corruption and I just made this a 7, which is my crit value? I divide by 0 and I just turn that into a crit and I just put that into wounds. So when you crit on an attack, it goes straight to wounds, even if the enemy is guarded, and you don't gain any threat at all whatsoever.
Okay.
That's right. So
that was just your turn. That was just you just did all that.
I did. The Arithmagician popped off. And then even though you attacked, you could still go and recover if you wanted.
Yeah, let's go ahead with the recover. So we're gonna go ahead and roll 1 of these dice. We got 3, so we're gonna reduce the threat by 3.
Yep.
All right, 1, 2, 3. So we're down to 5, and we still have a card in front of us.
But keep in mind, this card's not the one that's gonna flip. It's gonna pull out a rage card for you.
Right. So, but I mean, at this point, I'm still trying to farm these cards into fatigue, right?
Yeah, I mean, ideally, we don't want something like this to pop off and hit everyone. Though the monk is going to go over and take care of that for us before she dies.
Yeah, I have the magic power. Is Blade Blossom worth it? I'm at 5.
It might be. So we know the enemy is going to be staggered next turn. It might be worth it. Oh, but interesting. So you could do it because it's anytime. Oh, actually, Dion, we cheated.
Oh,
so Blade Blossom says at the bottom that you must cycle.
So I used it one time, so we get a new card. Yep.
So you just get a new card.
All right, so Finisher, it's a reaction card. Ooh, we haven't talked about reaction cards.
No, reactions are great. So reactions are not actions. They trigger when you do something. So Finisher is really cool. When you complete an action that dealt damage, perform an ability attack you have not used this round as a free action. So you could use Glacial Blade, then Finisher, then Hexbull, and then still have an action left over.
Let's go. Finisher. Finish.
But you don't have enough cards in front of you, unfortunately.
This is true. And I already did a recover action.
Yeah.
So moving doesn't quite work there. I mean, I guess we just do a normal attack and get, hopefully, when he's next turn, when he's staggered, move somewhere and then just slice this guy up.
Yeah, slice him up. That's right.
Pew, 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 pew. All right, we're just going to do a normal attack. Here we go.
Let's do it.
We got a 4.
Miss.
Not quite. So going to be missing.
Not quite. That's fine. Then the monk has 0 health, right? So I'm going to move over here. And then I'm going to roll 2 dice. A hit just barely. I deal 3 damage. So 3 are going into fatigue. Which is fine. Because before I die, I'm going to use Soul Tear. When you deal damage, roll 1 die. Place that many strength cards from fatigue into wounds. If your roll matches your current corruption, you succumb. But I'm going to die anyway. I'm going out on top.
That's right. I'll do it my way.
I'm doing it my way. So I'm going to gain 4 corruption to use that ability. My max is 5. I'm going to roll 1 die. And we're hoping this is very high. Sick. Let's go. Let's go. So now there are 5 cards in fatigue. All 5 of those are going into wounds now. I dealt 5 damage to it. Unfortunately, I ended my activation at 0 health.
Yeah.
So remember me.
Yeah.
And I'm dead. So I'm removed from the board. So I went out. I had to sacrifice myself in order to rip my soul apart to deal all that damage.
Oh.
So, poor monk. And that's where, this is, not a campaign game, so what's, the story here is super cool, The monk shattered, and, I'd like to think the monk redeemed herself at the very end by sacrifice, because she never actually succumbed to corruption, right? Never got to that 5. Died before succumbing to that corruption. So that's kind of cool in my head, anyway.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, you can build that story as you wish.
That's right. So now we're back into the defend phase. A rage card's going to come out because of the special ability of the harvester on this side. Happiness, gain 1 HP. Oh, where was that before?
Oh, wrecked.
I could have used happiness last round.
You know what is happiness, Ryan?
Hanging out with you.
Nice. But less than $1,000 away, my friend.
Less than $1,000. We're so close
to make it. So, if you're on the fence of supporting Encounters Shattered Waste, I know there was some people who've come in late and say, Dion, why does this matter for you? I would say for me it matters in the sense of what's my skin in the game. Well, I wrote the music for it. That's how.
You did.
One of my big career goals personally is I want my dream is to one day write music for a movie. I think it would be amazing. I would love it. And right now I'm got to start somewhere. And
that's right.
We wrote some amazing music. I wrote some amazing music for Encounter Shattered Waste. And if the goal continues to reach one of the top stretch goal, I get to do more of it. So that's my skin in the game. Is I want to write more music.
And you know what? I've been recommending Dion to my producers out here in LA. I do know producers. And, we want Dion to have the credits to be able to show stuff off, Yeah. That's really important. All right, let's go. So another card is going to come out now. I'm going to attack you. Oh, not that one. This one.
What do we got?
Fear. Shuffle the rage deck.
Oh, okay. All right.
So let me...
So we got different possibilities come out. No active ability, but we're changing those odds just a little bit.
Yeah, like we know there's a card in there called Anger that deals 4 damage to us.
Yup.
Which, not great. Not great. The monk knows that didn't feel too good. All right, so let's go back to the refresh phase. I think there's only 1 card in stamina right now. Yeah, so roll 1 die and see where it goes, Dion.
Here we go.
And the monk's dead, so the monk doesn't roll any dice.
This is true. 5.
All right, this is it. If we get rid of all these cards, we win.
Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go, man. Do you want to go first?
I do, but first I have to answer this question. Efficient Born says, how do I convince my wife to let me back this at Gold Squadron Podcast? Well, it is a cooperative game, okay?
Yeah.
And if your partner is into cooperative games, because I know, like, competitive games, I can't play them with my partner. This is not something that she's into, but if we can play something together, she's into it. Or some relationships are on the opposite end, and they say, you know what? I want you to be able to play your games by yourself. You can do that with this game, too. You can play it solo if you want.
I've sent a bunch of copies out to different reviewers, and I just play One Stop Co-op Shop. It's one of my favorite YouTube channels. They reviewed the game, and one of the hosts actually prefers it solo because it plays really fast solo.
Yeah.
You can get through a lot of, you can rip through a game in less than an hour solo, 45 minutes or whatever. We've been talking a ton, but the other reason is you're supporting your friend.
It's true. It's true.
But yeah, I think the solo mode in this is really robust. There's not enough weight in the game. It's not too heavy for you to run 3 characters on your own.
Yeah, and I know, like, anytime a game is new, I know one of the hurdles whenever you learn a new game is you got to learn the rules here, right?
Yeah.
And understand, like, I've played a total of we did some very early testing with the final version. Like, I haven't played since the last summer, since July. Right?
Yeah.
Since July, but once you get going, you're rolling dice, checking things, and having a good time. Hopefully you can tell. I'm having a blast. I love this game. I'm having a blast.
I mean, we're having a great time, dude. Like, it's awesome. And you still haven't shattered. Like, I'm so proud of you.
That's right. I'm resource management.
That's right. But you're up. I mean, you're up if you want to be. I could also go, but we got to get rid of all these cards. So.
All right. Well, we got the. Oh man. So my threat is at 5. I can recover, and then I have enough to blade. No, we can't blade blossom. We used it already. No cheating, Dion. But this is where we can do some shenanigans, right? Trying to use finisher.
Yeah. So you could move glacial blade, finisher, hex bolt.
All right, and we want to attack this row right here.
Yeah.
All right, move.
Or actually, move.
No, I fell over.
Move Hexbolt into Glacial Blade, perhaps, because you get to roll 2 dice with Hexbolt, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough too. It's totally up to you on which order you want.
I'm gonna do the move. I'm gonna go with the Hexbolt because I have 2 dice, and then with Glacial Blade, I'm digging for a crit. Right?
Yeah, you're digging for that 1 or 2.
That's exactly what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
All right. So first action was move. Next is we're going to go for the Hexbolt.
Yep, so 2 MP cost.
Yep, we'll go ahead and move that over from 8 over to 6. We'll roll the 2 dice. And we got over 5. We got to 9.
That hits. That goes into wounds. You gain 4 threat.
Yep. So now we're going up to 9 on threat. And then I'm going to go ahead and trigger Finisher, my reaction card.
Yes.
When you complete an action that dealt damage, which we just did, we perform an ability attack that you've not used as a free action. We're digging for now that Glacial Blade. This only hits I would need a 10. It's a 1 die attack though, and I'm looking for that crit. I crit on 1, so I'm digging for 1. 1 out of 6 chance.
Well, actually, Glacial Blade also hits on a 2.
Oh, you're right. You're right. On a 2,
yeah.
you do the crit mechanic. Here we go.
Yeah. Yep.
So 33.3. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's
go. That's what I'm talking about. So now this goes into wounds, and you don't gain any threat for it.
Nice.
That's what I'm talking about. And then I'm gonna go with the arithmetic.
And this way, don't because it crit. Don't both of these go in because of the Glacial Blade ability?
No. Only on a roll of 2.
Oh, so on the actual 2. You're right. Sorry.
Yeah, you use your normal crit, but if you'd rolled a 2, all the cards would have gone into wounds, and you would have lost Glacial Blade. You've actually kept it the whole game, which is pretty cool. And then I'm just gonna attack with the Shattered Arithmagician.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a 7. That's a crit. So we're gonna put that in there.
A Fish is Born just pledged.
That's what I'm talking about.
Let's go. Thank you, Mrs. A Fish is Born.
Thank you, Mrs. A Fish is Born. And then I'm gonna move as my second action. That's that. So let's pull out some rage cards. Happiness. Oh, yeah, I got happiness again.
Hey.
You know what? I've just made friends with the Harvester. And then this rage card's gonna come out and attack you.
Oh no!
The anger. The anger. He's so mad. Oh man, knocked to 0 health, wrecked. Oh man. Okay. So we go back into no refresh phase because no cards in stamina or fatigue. I'll go first. I'm just going to attack this card in front of me. Another 7. Just roll crits, Dion. It's easy.
Yeah, right.
And then I will move 1, 2, 3 to here, and I will flip.
All right. Now I got damaged, right?
Yes.
I'm to 0. Is my turn? Is my game over? Let's go through this. What happens when you get to 0? Because I know we kind of went through it with the monk, but now it's happening to me, and I need you to explain it to me. Like what happened? What do I do? What are my options?
So here are your options, right? Your options are die.
No, I don't want to do that. Pass.
Take an action to shatter. So you're allowing the corruption of the waste to empower you to stay alive longer and live to be able to take out these last few cards.
All right, put that corruption in a cup because I'm drinking it up.
Go, baby. Drink that corruption soda. So you go to 9 health now, and you lose all these cards. Goodbye.
Oh, and this guy gets 3 of the sorry, what are these called? The shattered cards?
Abilities. Yeah. So Dion, you drew a really interesting card here. You drew Crossroads of Faith.
All right, let me go ahead and change screen here so everybody can see what's going on. All right.
You could use your action if you wanted to roll 1 die.
Oh, I see it. Oh, I see it.
Through a 3, you say nah to being shattered and reclaim yourself, and you flip back over to the other side. Or a 4 through 6, you just lose the action completely.
Oh, a 50% chance to return from the
Crossroads
corruption.
Of Faith. The Crossroads of Faith. Oh wait, one sec. Let's switch your standee back. So it is, reclaiming yourself is really hard. It's a rare mechanic. There are only a couple shattered cards let you do it. A couple of the bosses let you do it. But this is your opportunity. Are you going to stay shattered to defeat the enemy, or are you gonna risk it to come back?
All right. So mechanically, if I roll it, I would flip over the card. Would I get to keep my 9 health?
Oh yeah.
How does that work?
When you reclaim yourself, you flip, and all your stats reset again.
Oh, it just reset. So I basically, by reclaiming, it's almost like a do-over.
Yes.
Right. So would I be able to shatter again?
No. Once you're reclaimed, you change your activation token to this bad boy, and if you ever reach 12 threat or 0 health, you just die. You cannot go back.
Because I've already defeated the corruption.
You already pushed it out. And also, Dion, I'm going to show this. In the Kickstarter, I have an add-on for acrylic reclaimed standees. This is completely optional, right?
Yeah.
These do not impact the game in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
They are just alt arts. They're basically character alt arts.
Yeah.
But in this version, like, I don't have it in the mod, but you can see that it the pixel art, it takes from the he's got the shattered cape on, and his bow is all like ethereal, and it's super cool. So as an add-on, you can get these acrylic standees so that you have another option when they're reclaimed, which is really, really cool. I've gotten a little bit of flack from some of the comments saying, like, why aren't they in the deluxe edition? Producing this acrylic's pretty expensive because I'm doing it in the US. It's very high quality, like super, super high quality stuff. And actually, if I wanted to put all these standees in the deluxe edition, it'd push me over onto another sheet of acrylic, which would be way too expensive. So I'm putting it, I'm giving backers, if they want to spend the extra 20, you just add it to your pledge. I feel like a dumb salesman, but you just add it to your pledge, and then in the pledge manager, you get it. So they look really cool. Like, I really like the one for the Ronin, because the Ronin's hair is always in a ponytail, but when they're reclaimed, and now it's down. I don't even know if you can see it, but it's super cool.
Nice. Would I be able to? All right. So if I get those, because I mean, who doesn't like just more cool toys to play with, right?
That's right.
Do they fit in the box?
They absolutely do. Yeah.
All right, cool.
All in the deluxe edition or the regular edition, these bases. One of the reasons why this is such high quality stuff are the bases pop on and off super easily. Andrew Knuckles from Curled Paw Creatives is doing all of the acrylic for this. Shouts to them. But once they're locked in, they don't come off at all. It's like really well designed, but they pop off really easily. So they lay flat in the box. And this is for all the acrylic standees, because the deluxe edition, all the enemies are acrylic as well. So you get this big bat guy or whatever. And like, the deluxe edition is expensive. It's boutique. Like, it's really high quality stuff all in it. So that's why it's like more expensive.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. But you can play the game like with the regular one if that floats your boat. That doesn't. Yeah.
The base game is like totally fine. It's great. Like, it's a great value, I think, for everything you're getting in it. But the reclaimed standees as the only add-on is you get a little taste of acrylic, the first taste. So what are you doing, Dion? What do you think? What's your plan?
I mean, we got to clear these 3 cards. Let's try to win this game. So, you
have one action. So
a single
shattered as your first one.
When a character rolls dice on attack, use your current threat for the value of the roll instead.
So if your threat was 7, you could use New Teachings to just make it a crit. It's pretty cool.
Okay. So that's not useful at this moment because my threat is currently 0. Devouring Darkness. If this attack hits, search the Rage deck for any card and remove it from the encounter. Ooh, that's
pretty good for right now. Get rid of that anger.
Yep. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take on now, instead of spending magic power, I am now taking on corruption.
You gain 2 corruption. That's
right. To do this. So, because as the number, I know it's slightly off screen for all of you, but right here, this 2 on the top left corner. So let's go ahead and do that. And of course, I am going to have to flip this card. I'm going to have to get rid of it, or cycle it. Excuse me.
Yeah, you'll cycle it, and I'll get you a new shattered card after. But you roll 1 die.
Roll 1. Let's make it happen. So we rolled a 5.
Which is greater than 0, so it hits.
Yep.
You also have this cool ability called Scrying Sniper. You get to move a card. You probably don't need to do that right now. You probably just hit this one, right? So that'll go to wounds. You gain 2 threat. But more importantly, let's get rid of this
that one. Yep.
Right?
Before attack. Big on.
I would like to think that you summoned a darkness arrow and shot the angry mask out of the sky, right? Just
yeah,
it's amazing. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to I already went, so that's it. Yep. So let's pull a couple more cards out. Fear, shuffle the Rage deck. We got rid of anger, so how bad could this card possibly be? Despair! Oh, you take 5 threat.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And remember, if you reach 12 threat on your shattered side, you're removed from the board immediately.
Oh.
All right, it's now time for our final turn. If we can get rid of these last 2 cards, we might win. So I'm going to go. I'm going to attack this one in front of me. I rolled a 2, which is fine. So I'm above 0. Put that into wounds. Gain 2 threat. And then I'm just going to recover so that I can 0. All right, Dion. Now, before you attack this final card, would you like to attempt your Crossroads of Faith for the narrative moment?
But I only get 1 action. Is it going to cost me? It's going to cost me my action.
It is going to cost you your action.
But there's not a 4 damage hit in there anymore. Let's do it. Let's
do it.
Let's reclaim our soul.
Reclaim your soul. 1 through 3. 1 through 3.
Let's
go! Let's go! So now, this is the really cool part about this, Dion, about reclaiming yourself. You now get to draw 3. The top card. You get to draw 3 cards from any deck, including the Shattered deck, if you were so inclined.
Oh,
so you top deck 3 cards, not items. Items don't count, but 3 of the ability cards.
All
and
right.
then this goes to 0 as well.
Oh man, so supportability. I think we're just gonna go ham on attacks.
Let's get some attacks, right?
Yeah, let's go. Let's go 1, 2, 3.
Let's see what attacks you got here.
We'll flip it, and we're gonna change camera angles here so that everybody can see what did I just do? What happened?
Oh my god, you got Forbidden Technique, dude. I think we gotta finish this bad boy off with a Forbidden Technique.
Oh, it's forbidden. All right, so second, I reclaimed myself, which means now I have 2 actions instead of 1, right?
Your first action was to use that active ability,
right?
To try it. So you have 1 action left.
All right, so let's Forbidden Technique, attack 2 dice. If this hits, it is a crit. Let's go.
Yep. Let's go. So 2 dice. I mean, it's going to hit because you're at 0.
That's right. This is just the dramatic pulling back the bow release.
So you crit it, you take it out with the Forbidden Technique, which I'd like to think you learned when you were shattered.
Ooh.
And then you get a new card, but it doesn't matter. So that's incredible. So you just... so now we probably win because you're reclaimed. But the last thing that happens is what's called the last gasp. 1 rage card is drawn, and it affects both of us, affects everybody, which was just fear. So as the Harvester dies, it felt fear. And then dies. But the last gasp can be really dangerous because let's say you're at, like, everyone on the table is at, like, 11 or 10 threat, right? And then he drew... nope.
Oh, we took it out, remember?
No,
there it is. There it is.
If he drew that one and we were shattered and everyone is at really high threat and everybody takes 5 threat and everyone's removed from the table, then if we tie, we lose, technically. So, yeah. But that's it. That's Encounters Shattered Wastes. The monk ate it. The Arithmagician learned some new math. But you, Dion, you reclaimed yourself. You came back from the corruption.
Whew, came back. I made it.
Made it.
Oh man, I love
fun.
it. That's such a fun.
And that's the Harvester is the second enemy, the second easiest enemy. So there's the Guardian, then the Harvester, the Eater of Children, the Winged Terror, the Spectre, the Sunken Beast, the First Chosen, and the Shattered God.
And just to show, you can. So Ryan has them on the TTS mod in order here. But if you're playing with the physical cards, you can see that it's delineated by this meter here at the top.
Yeah, and that's like a rough approximation of how difficult they're tuned. Also, what is really awesome is that there are one of the stretch goals. If we may manage to get to 35,000, which is expensive, we're adding in location cards, and location cards are additional difficulty modifiers. So you're fighting the enemy instead of just the generic Shattered Wastes in a specific place, like the Bottomless Hatchery. And that would be like if you share a area with someone, your crit value is 0, right? So
Ryan, you are 2 deluxe sets away from hitting the goal.
We're so close, guys.
4
We're so close.
regular sets away from the goal. Okay,
we're so close.
We're right there. Now, you had mentioned that if we were to hit the goal before we were done tonight, you wanted to do possibly a giveaway.
We're going to do a giveaway. So normally the complete set of acrylic is only available in the deluxe edition.
Correct.
Normally. But before we end this cast, we get to 25,000, we're $199 away.
Woo!
I'm going to give away a full set of the deluxe edition acrylic to somebody watching the cast right now.
That's right.
And you don't have to wait till next year. We will send it to you as soon as we get your address, straight from Andrew Knuckles.
That's right.
Creatives.
They're print it, ship it, make it happen.
So it's the full complete set. And you know what? I'm not just going to send you the stuff in the deluxe edition. I'm also going to send you the reclaimed standees as well.
Oh, okay. All right.
You'll get the full complete acrylic set. Because here's the thing. You can't play the game with it yet, but they look really great on a desk. Like they actually look really, really good on a desk. So, that's my offer. If we can get to, if we get close.
I mean, like I said, we need 2 people who haven't pledged, which, 2 people who haven't pledged to go deluxe, or 4 to go regular. That's
4 to go regular.
Or potentially, if you want to do more math, if 10 people want to add that $20 on top of their pledge so that they can get the acrylic guaranteed for themselves. That would be that would be a way to do it as well.
That's right. So, this is
24,926. 24,926.
926. We're so close, guys. We're so close.
Let's go.
I just refreshed. Oh, wait, I refreshed. It went back down. Someone canceled. It went back down. Dion. Oh, wait, it went back up now. Oh, my gosh.
Playing with my emotions.
It's a whirlwind of emotions. Oh, my God. Who's going to be backer? Oh, my God.
Did we do it?
I think we're there. Did we do it?
I don't know. Awkwardly waiting.
I got to make sure that no one reduces it. No, I think we did it.
Yeah, let's go!
We did it, baby!
You did it, my man!
Let's go! That's what I'm talking about! The game's coming! We did it! Let's go!
All right.
Day 1 funded!
Let's make it happen.
That's what I'm talking about. Awesome. Oh my god. We did
Congratulations, Ryan.
We did it. You guys did it. That's what's happening right now. Encounters Shattered Waste. It's coming. It's happening. As long as, everyone doesn't just cancel their pledge. Don't do that.
That's true.
Don't do that.
True.
If you want the extra acrylic, just add $20 to your pledge. Then in the pledge manager, you can add it.
Yeah, you allocate those funds towards what parts you're doing.
Yeah, it's like a credit to get the stuff that you want.
Yeah.
So. Oh my god. I think we have to do a a random drawing, don't we?
Oh yeah. We yes we
I
do.
got
All
acrylic
right.
to give out.
And again, whoever does win this giveaway, like Ryan said, you're gonna be, I mean, outside of playtesting, you'll be one of the first people to have these acrylic standees in person and be able to show
right.
up. Hey, I was there. I was live when it happened.
That's right.
This is awesome. All right. So let me pull up my giveaway robot and we'll make it happen.
Oh, the robot.
The robot. All right. Super easy. All you have to do to participate in today's giveaway is type in the chat. That's it. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Barcel Manzano in the chat, one of my GSP X-Wing co-hosts, saying, all right, I pledged. Gib game. There we go. Type in the chat. Wow. Oh, man. It's fun to be a part of this, Ryan. It's fun to be a part of this.
I'm just... Yeah. There are no words. You guys are the best. Literally all you guys are best. You're the bomb. I could not have done this without the support of, the X-Wing community. And, I just couldn't have. So, thank you.
Love it.
It's incredible.
Look at that. Fuges MN says, first time watching GSP in months, came back to see the demo, excited to try it. Yeah, it's a fun game. Oh, it's good stuff. All right. Let's do this giveaway. Let's make this happen.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Give me a 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Chambalaya, you're getting that set.
Chambalaya, you're getting all the acrylic. All of the acrylic. Chambalaya. Getting all of it. We're sending literally all the acrylic to you. Let's go.
That's right. So, how should Chambalaya? I believe. Get in contact with Ryan Farmer via Facebook, Discord. I believe you guys are connected there. If I'm not mistaken.
We are connected. I'm familiar with one Chambalaya. I will get in contact with that individual and ensure they get an Encounters care package straight from me.
Encounters care package. Absolutely love it. All right.
Wow.
Whew.
Man,
go.
That was a
hype.
That was an adventure.
All right. So looking at our list of things that we wanted to talk about tonight, we showed the trailer. We showed off the Kickstarter page. You know what? Let's take a second and talk about what the stretch goals are. If they happen, the game's happening. Let's go.
Happening.
That's awesome. So let's talk about what else it could end up being in the future. So all you guys backing could see the potential as it continues to build here. So let's go ahead and do that.
Yeah. Okay.
So give me 1 second, Ryan. I have to adjust one thing so that I make sure that they can hear you because reasons and things. Actually, I'm just going to switch this scene, pull this way, and that will be just a smidge faster, I believe. There we go. I'm just going to make a quick adjustment to our view, and we can take a look here.
Whew. Sorry, I'm hyperventilating.
That's all right, man. This is big. This is huge.
This is huge, right? Wow. Also, if you want to, I did just post an update. I had a draft set just in case I was fortunate enough to get funded today. And we have an updated piece of Arithmagician art that I think you'll really enjoy. I don't know where you go to updates though. Wow, you guys crushed it. I was plateauing a bit in the middle of the day. I didn't know if we were going to get there, but we got there.
So Chul's asking, are there only 4 heroes or are there more? I think you're starting out with 8. Yeah.
Yeah, we got 8 heroes, and there are no heroes for stretch goals. I'm not doing. There is some gameplay based stretch goals, but it's optional gameplay, which we'll talk about.
Right.
So Dion, if do you want to? So if you scroll down to the bottom of the page, the first stretch goal is the location cards.
Yep.
We already talked a little bit about those. They're additional difficulty modifiers. So if you play the Harvester and you figure him out, and you're like, the Harvester's chump change now, so easy, like way too easy. There are 8 locations that are going to get added into the game that you can fight them at. So, for example, the most difficult location is called, one of the most difficult locations is the reflected archway, which says, that's not shown there, but it's if any character is removed from the board, all characters lose the game.
Oh!
And then, and then another location is Throne of the Last King. And in that location, you're not allowed to take the shatter action. So if you end up at 0 health, you can't shatter to get your health back, right?
Yeah.
So they all sort of change up the game and make you have to think about the encounter differently. The reason it's a stretch goal is the art to do them is very expensive. I'm not using AI art. I'm going with like a legit artist from Bethesda who's doing a lot of the work. Other than one of them, Phrenic Patcos did one of them for the Bottomless Hatchery, which he did the box art as well. It looks incredible. If we manage to get to $40,000, we're going to do a molded insert for all of the boxes. So that is a little more expensive to do and do it right. I have to partner with a different company to work with my manufacturer, but that would mean it doesn't just fit in the boxes; it fits good. Like there's a spot for everything, right?
Right.
And then if we get to $50,000, which is the big one, we're adding 40 new cards into the game, and a new campaign style mode. It's not a full campaign. It's called Journey mode. And you journey through the Shattered Wastes. And every time you beat an enemy, all your stats stay the same. They don't reset at all between the encounters. So, but when you beat an enemy, relic cards drop. So, actually, what I'm going to do right now, Dion, is give me 1 second. Stand by.
Gold leader standing by.
Stand by. So if you look, I'm going to post this in the chat right now.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's the cover art for Journey mode. And then the enemies, I'm posting one more link. When you defeat an enemy, they drop relic cards, which you can equip in battle to make you more powerful, or you can expend them to reset your stats between fights. So these are a couple examples. The Golem Heart is one of the relics that could be dropped by the Harvester that we just fought, right?
Yeah.
Talonbane can be dropped by the Winged Terror.
I mean, you got to do some winks, right? Like
Yeah, well, the fluff on Talonbane says it's just all, there are some Easter eggs in the game if you're willing to look for them. It carves through the air with a familiar and terrible scree. Steven, it's really funny that you say possible Soontir Fel Easter egg, because there's already a pretty significant X-Wing Easter egg in Encounters. If you want to go back to TTS real quick, Dion.
Yep. Hey, there it is.
There it is. So there are winks and nods everywhere. But if I'm fortunate enough to get to $50,000, that would be the dream, because it would mean that the game is complete as it can be. The journey mode is that high because it is a pretty big, it is a pretty big expense. I have to commission a ton. There are 40 new pieces of pixel art that have to be commissioned for the relic cards. I have to pay my graphic designer to do an entire another rule book. A lot more art goes into it, but that would be the biggest stretch goal. And then At $65,000 is the real money, Dion.
The Shattered Waste Symphony?
That's right, the Shattered Symphony. At $65,000, you will score individual music for every single boss in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be the dream. And there are maybe some other surprise stretch goals I might sprinkle in between here and there to motivate if we're in a little bit of a plateau period. I have a couple other options that we might push in, but yeah.
That's awesome, man. So again, for everybody who was here, thank you guys so much. It's really cool to have been a part of this. Try to see what other things that we wanted to hit that what we're so hyped we jumped into playing. The musical process. You guys interested? If you guys are interested in knowing, we could talk about it. Today was more about the game. I'm willing to talk about it though, of course.
I want to hear about the musical process. I really do. Like this, to me, that is like something that's really fascinating.
Yeah. So I am. I have, when I talk to other composers, there's lots of different types of composers and how they go about solving. Because music, I need music for X is a problem solving thing, right? Yeah. So you gave me a bunch of references, and it comes down to identifying what are the characteristics of that music that elicit the feeling that you want, right? So, for instance, in film, right, a lot of directors use temp music because there's something about that music that is driving their vision or works well with their vision. So you said JRPG, and this is a genre that I personally was not familiar with. All right. JRPG. Here's some tracks from Final Fantasy. This is the feel that I want. So I identified a couple of things. Solo instruments at times that kind of stick out of the texture, that bring an important line, that kind of bring it to the front. So you have this this violin line dun 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 that just kind of whips out of nowhere. A lot of strings. You got to have strings in there. There's a lot of drive with the strings, and the risk I took was incorporating type of elements that in my mind connected to different characters or different aspects of the game. So if you listen through the music, you hear kind of it's a processed and distorted chime is what it is. It's this bell that you hear, and for me, that's what I look as the internal timer of the game as you head towards being shattered. It's this. Right. It's gonna happen. It's gonna. You will succumb to the shattered waste. That's what that sound for me is.
And it's so cool to like hear because I've got my internal monologue for like characters and stuff, but to hear it for the music, that's exactly what you feel when that music is coming. Like. There's this inevitability to the whole thing, and hearing you talk about it is so illuminating, because I did send you a bunch of references, and I knew I really like strings, and I love sort of you mix a little of the piano in there, the more somber stuff, like that is so great. And there's the trailer music, but if you go on almanacgames.com or click on the Kickstarter the music tab, you can listen to his full 10-minute loop of the music. Which is like designed for you to play the game to in the background, and it never gets boring because he's got all these.
It's changes of texture, changes of timbre. It's the idea being that these themes, ideally, if somebody who is listening to it in the background will likely be able to identify the themes as they come out in different textures. And that's the whole point. A composer wants, when you're done listening to the music, for you to be able to hum something back. That's the goal. And
I can't hum. I'm not going to try and hum. But
at least hear in your brain that thing that gets stuck in your head.
The I can't do it because I'm literally tone deaf. I cannot do any of it. But you do that. Like, it's so good. It's so good.
Love it.
I really hope that we could. It's a very high stretch goal. I'm gonna keep pushing the game now that it's funded. I'm working on reducing our cost of international shipping. I really am. I know it's pricey right now, but I'm hoping that'll draw some more international backers. If we can somehow get to that massive stretch goal, which would be huge, don't get me wrong. I am so excited for the opportunity to be able to work with you on more music. Yeah. Because with all these different kinds of enemies, we can touch on a lot of different feels.
Oh yeah, like I have like Ryan has given me. I have prototype parts, and when I look at these enemies, and when we were talking about that narrative on their, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the exact name of the cards, but the rage cards, the rage cards, and like I was taking them and putting them in different orders and kind of imagining the feel, because the thing is, similar to how they're randomized in the way that they're drawn, that could completely affect the path that I would take with a piece to cover all these different emotions that enemy can touch on.
I mean, I would love, the Eater of Children for me is like one of my favorite bosses. She's so spooky and scary, and like getting some like very horror themed stuff in there, like seeing what you do with like, how do you put music to stomach spiders, right? Like, what do you do for that?
I already have ideas. I got my notebook is here where I wouldn't want to let it out the bag to be able to just kind of hold on to it, because when I did it and you listen to it, if you were to listen to it for the first time, you would go, that's stomach spider. Like I have a very specific idea for that. That is, it's so good. It's so good. I don't want to toot my own horn, but it's pretty good.
Oh, man. Well, you too can hear what stomach spiders sounds like if we reach $65,000. But yeah, if you're an international, person in the EU or Australia or whatever, and you're looking and you're like, wow, those shipping prices are awful. We're working on it. I'm working on, other stretch goals, other incentives, stuff that doesn't put me out. But guys, we did it, and we did it, like the collective we, the kings we, the queens we, whatever. My gratitude is about as high as it possibly could be,
It's awesome.
And to you, Dion, for like, we just raised over $3,000 in the past couple hours.
We did it,
on this stream. Like this was the push. Like I wouldn't have been able to do it without you.
I got you, baby. I got you.
You're the man. You're the man.
All right. Is there anything else you wanna talk about, cover before we go? Maybe open it up to audience questions. Is there anybody out there? So somebody said Isofaints funded in 12 hours. How long has it been live?
Let's see. Yeah, I think funded in 12 hours because I launched it around 8:30 a.m. and I think we funded around then. So yeah, funded in 12 hours. Absolutely. Yeah.
There you go. You get to put that on your little banner.
I do.
All right.
I do. I get to add a little bug that says funded in 12 hours.
That's awesome. Oh man. Encounter Shattered Waste. This is crazy. Like for me, the idea, Ryan, that this was 4 years ago, Gen Con, paper prototypes, just the hope. Hearing Ryan saying, man, I just think it'd be so cool to be able to publish my own board game, and just being like, do it, man. Do it. Let's see. What do you got? Let's talk about it.
It's been such like a crazy journey, but I think the biggest thing for me is like, I'm not special. Like, I think anybody could do this. It's been very hard. It's been very difficult. I'm not, this is the first game that I've like designed. Well, there have been many versions of this game which were total crap, but version 4 of this game is pretty solid. The 4th game I designed is pretty solid. If you can get a support system around you, and now obviously I'm not going to be so naive to say that like the Minoc podcast, Fly Better, Gold Squadron, the X-Wing community, the clout or whatever I have from that didn't help. It very much did.
Sure.
Right. That helped a ton. But that's not to say you couldn't build your own audience in your own way by going to conventions, by meeting people, by building your email list, by building something special. I think that anybody can create a great game if you're willing to listen to tough feedback and just work at it. And I will also say it's not just the design aspect. There's a lot of business that I don't know, that I didn't know, that I still am learning. The, manufacturing, the fulfillment, the taxes, the shipping.
That's what a lot of people don't think about. That part is when you're a solo, it's literally just you and your contracted people. The costs can get very significant very quickly.
Right. So you're making you need to have good margins, right?
Right.
There's a rule that's like the 5 times rule, that you should not sell your game on Kickstarter for anything less than 5 times what it costs to manufacture, because if you do that, your margins are so slim and bad because of how much fulfillment costs that you probably won't. You probably will end up in the red, and you don't want to end up in the red. That's bad.
That's
right?
bad.
And I broke a lot of the rules, right? In the first time you design a game, it probably should be something with fewer components that's less expensive to make. But, that's crazy. So there's a question here. How did you connect with the publisher, and how much of the income roughly goes to the publisher or other layers of production? Great question. Almanac Games is my company. I'm the publisher.
Right. So really, your cost is production.
Yeah, my cost is production. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there are 2 ways to go about it when you design a game. You can design a game and you can shop it around and try to get a publisher to pick it up, and then you sign a contract. You get royalties for every game that's sold, but they now own that game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So they own it, and you lose. For the most part, depending on the contract, you lose control of it. Or you self-publish, which is what I'm doing. I have an LLC, Almanac Games, Farmer Creative, whatever, and I am, putting the game out there, and I retain all creative control, which is what's really important to me. But also, I take on a lot more of the risk and have to deal with all the manufacturing and distribution.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's similar for my pieces that I have had published with different publishers. It's once I'm done, I let it go. But I personally don't have to worry about the distribution of that. Now in the future, that might, because it's a single piece of music by piece of music time. That might be different for movies. That's essentially what you're doing. You're selling them the music, depending on there's different contracts that you get different royalties and things like that. That's
and so in movies and video games are all very different too, because sometimes you get royalties on a movie, sometimes you get royalties, and sometimes you just are selling your services to work on it, right? You get paid an hourly fee or a contract or whatever, and they'll say, we'll pay you X money to compose this, and we have the rights to this music now. Whereas video games are a little different, because video games, you could, there are soundtrack sales that you can get royalties for and all kinds of other stuff. And composing a video game is so different. It's actually in a lot of ways harder than doing a movie.
That's my stretch goal for me.
That's right. It's amazing.
Boom. Funded.
Boom.
Put it on the stream. Funded.
Put it on a card. Put it on a card. Oof. Amazing. I think I need to go eat. I haven't eaten today. I should probably go eat.
You should do that.
If you want to play the Tabletop Sim mod, check out the Kickstarter. There's a link there. If you want to play it with me, hit me up. If I have time, I would love. Oh wait, I dodged a question. Steven, what did you say?
Which feedback from me did you hate the most?
Oh man, so yeah, Rathos and I talked a ton.
I think I'm going to translate the question into which feedback was the hardest to hear.
There was one particular night where we stayed up to 2 a.m. chatting about the game.
Yeah.
And we were pitching. It was specifically talking about like the enemy was dying too fast. There wasn't like a stagger mechanic yet.
Yeah.
And there was an iteration on like Steve and I were slinging ideas back and forth, all the time. But he was the one that initially talked about the what became the stagger mechanic.
Guarded versus stagger, yeah.
Yeah, guarded versus staggered. And it was really hard for me to hear personally because I thought it made the game too fiddly and too complicated. And I didn't want to make the game too complicated because I had just gone through several other variations of the game, which were way too complicated and bad.
Right.
And so I was trying to simplify. And granted, the stagger mechanic is maybe the most complicated part of encounters, but it was so necessary.
Right.
So it's always hard to take feedback when you already have a bias. Like you're already locked into, I will not make anything that I feel is too complex. But sometimes you have to kind of dissolve that bias and pull back and be like, okay, does this make the game better? Or does it? Because at the end of the day, that's the question you're asking. With everything you do, does this make the game better or does this make the game worse? And then you have parameters on what is making the game better and what is making the game worse based on what kind of game you want to make, right? I want to make a thematic game where all of the gameplay functions are serving a story, a fluff, and also is creating kind of a challenging puzzle. And the stagger mechanic adds to the fluff and the theme of the game, makes you feel like you're fighting something, and it adds to the puzzle significantly because you're creating a tempo of when you can attack, when you can't attack. There's a give and a take. So in that regard, the extra mechanism was worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. So. Well, Ryan, let's get some food in you.
Let's do it.
It's time for you to relax a little bit.
Time for you to eat some pickles, right? Because we're funded.
I never agreed to this. The chat said I would. I never agreed to this.
The chat's
all right.
So mad.
Listen, my nutritionist said I got to start eating broccoli. Maybe I'll get to pickles. Okay.
Well, maybe you could pickle the broccoli.
I'm gonna start with roasted
pickle
broccoli.
Roasted broccoli. All right. Throw some Parmesan cheese on it.
That would be against regulation, but
wrap it in bacon.
Yeah, there you go. What broccoli? All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Ryan. Congratulations. Go hug your fiance. Go do some high fives. We did it. Thank you, everybody, for your support.
Thank you.
I look forward to just hearing updates as things get going. Obviously, now that it's funded, things get into production. Things start moving here. The Kickstarter closes in how many? What is the timeline?
23 more days.
23 days. Yep. And getting this funded on day one, hopefully, it's absolutely massive. Create some momentum for people who have no idea who Ryan Farmer is and just get to find out about a cool game. That's right. Thank you all so much. Ryan, congratulations. Thanks for watching, everybody. Be smart and be safe. Be safe. Squadron. Out.